Merhaba, Ashka.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the late start. Let me just tell you straight up, for the next, 2 weeks or so, I'm going to have like a little fluctuating schedule. The grandkids actually the grandson is in town training for his senior year of football. And of course, I'm involved in that. And then in a week, then the girls come down with Ashley, and it's just crazy right now. We got all kinds of visitations going on, but nonetheless, I will sneak in the shows as I can. They may not be the 3-hour version, but we'll get some stuff done. So today, as you can see, President Trump is over in, I think, Turkey. And I hope that the flyover woke you up, because, woo, that was pretty cool. And he's over there with Erdogan, whatever his name is, and had a grand welcome. And then we've got a meeting that we need to show you, a press conference as well. But we do have some breaking news.
Breaking news into the Fanfare news feed.
All right, so the off again, on again, off again, on again war is on again. This just in at about 5:15, a little over 15 minutes ago, U.S. Central Command forces have begun launching a series of powerful strikes against Iran to impose heavy costs for targeting and attacking commercial shipping crude by innocent civilians in an international waterway. The U.S. strikes are in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels that were transiting the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's demonstrated aggression was unwarranted, dangerous, and a clear violation of the ceasefire. These people are never going to learn. We're going to find out that it will be a forever war if he doesn't end it. This is not going to end. These people can't agree on anything. And so now I believe, let me see if I can find it, Scott Besson also put a stop to them selling oil. And that's right here. Here we go. It says, this was from 3:30. Treasury Secretary Scott Besson department, who just carried out the major FAO banning Iran from selling their oil under a U.S. general license. Iran attacked vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, and Trump and Besson are done with the games, Eric Doherty says. Revocation and wind down, June 21st, 26 authorization for the production, delivery, and sale of crude oil, petrochemical products, and petroleum products of Iranian origin. They have now rescinded that as well. And we're back to dropping bombs on their collective heads. This stuff isn't going to end well. And I think President Trump knows it, that maybe some of the stuff he's talking to people over at NATO today, as when I show you the press conference, you're going to see he's not in a jovial demeanor. He went over there to spank some European butt. And I think it has a lot to do with, we're going to have to wind this up. We're going to have to find some way to make sure that this thing is done and over. So as of right now, they have begun bombing once again. Don't know where it's going to end up. All right, we'll keep you posted on that. SV, if you see any more breaking news in that regard, we will jump to it as soon as possible. The other big story of the day, and I have a completely different outlook on this. So I want to talk to you about this.
I'm amazed at just how breezily Democrats are out there publicly discussing subverting the will of the people of Maine. Graham Plattner overwhelmingly won a primary. 98% of what we know about Graham Plattner, we already knew. The voters knew, the Democrats knew, the activists knew, the donors knew, everybody knew.
The media knew. Don't let these people on that panel go off scot-free. They all knew what was going on. They all knew this guy was a scumbag. They all knew this was completely bad news. Everybody looked the other way. They compromised themselves. They did whatever they could do to get this guy in a position to beat Susan Collins.
And there's a reason why everybody
voted for him.
Summer of 24 right now.
They voted for him anyway. Graham Plattner hasn't dropped out of this race
But if
yet.
Graham Plattner does drop out,
But
that does open the
you have all these
opportunity.
Democrats and even some of the, well, I guess we'll have to get somebody else. You had a vote. This is a democracy. The Democrats voted. And now the party of democracy is apparently going to subvert the will of the people.
this
what
is-
you're hearing,
I think-
what you're
I
hearing
think
from
you're
Scott,
making this
though.
point.
No, what you're hearing from Scott, though, is that obviously the Republicans at this point would love to run against Graham Plattner. I mean, this would be a gift. I mean,
It's not a matter of the Republicans wanting to run against Graham Plattner. That's not the point. You can try and deflect all you want, but that's not the point. What we're seeing going on with the Democrat Party right now, we've seen this movie. This should make every single American, Republican and Democrat, who believe in this country sit up and take notice. I don't live in Maine. Full disclosure, I don't live in Maine. I don't care about Graham Plattner. I don't really care about Susan Collins. What I care about is what this Democrat Party is turning into. I believe fully that what you're seeing is the execution of a sinister strategy that the Democrats seem completely cozy with executing. You see, go back to, I don't know, maybe 2016, and Bernie Sanders was kicking Hillary Clinton's butt. And the Democrats got rid of Bernie. We don't know how. It never made it to the media. People didn't dig in. But all of a sudden, Bernie's just going to acquiesce and let Hillary Clinton run. Then, a couple years ago, Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Biden's sharp as a tack. He's fine. He's the best version of Joe Biden we've ever seen. He's fine. Then he does the debate and vomits all over himself. And immediately after he vomited all over himself, they're like, we got to do something. And just like with Graham Plattner, they knew that this guy was demented. They knew that his elevator didn't go to the top floor. This is nothing new, what you're seeing with Graham Plattner. This is the new Democrat strategy. Now they're perfecting it, which is what should really concern you. Once again, they're showing us exactly who they are. Rules? They don't need rules. They don't need your votes. They don't care. And so she tries to turn it on Scott and say, of course the Republicans would want to run against Graham Plattner. The Republicans were licking their chops months ago. This isn't new. But now what we're seeing is what they're doing.
would be a gift for them.
And to Dave's point, every hour that goes by, make this argument.
Look, Lulu, it's not a gift that someone like this was allowed to make it this far in a in this process. But he did make it this far, and I think the Democrats, sometimes, what's the old saying? You know, you made your bed, now you got to lie in it.
Well, at least
the
Democrats
process here would dictate that Democrats ought to have to lie in this.
Allow. Did you notice the word Scott used? The Democrats allow. That says a lot. See, now they're screaming from the rooftops, oh, he's a horrible man. Everybody is saying he has to get out, except for him. Graham Plattner came out and said, and his team have said, we're not going anywhere. We're not leaving this race unless we get to pick who the next person is. Think about that. You have a Democrat candidate who has seen this movie before. And so now he's jumping in and saying, I get to pick the next person. And the Democrat Party is like, we get to pick the next person. And the voters in Maine now just have to watch the movie. They've been completely usurped. Focus on what's going on, not who the players are. I don't give a crap about Graham Plattner. You probably don't. You thought he was a scumbag months ago. That's not it. What it is what they are doing yet once again. We'll choose. No, I want to choose. That's not how it's supposed to work. Actually, it already worked. You don't get a mulligan. You don't get a do-over. Just because all of a sudden now he's getting his butt beat and you got women coming out the woodwork saying different things. Now, okay, that's one too many. No, we understood he did some weenie picks. We knew this. You knew everything. The numbers say he can't win, and so he's got to go. How do we make him go away? Just like with Joe Biden. We'll just say, Joe's going to drop out and let Kamala come in. Pop quiz. How many votes did Kamala Harris win or get from people who wanted her to run for president? Zippo. You see, the people no longer count to the Democrats. Power does, but the people don't count. I want to show you this article, and I just found it kind of surprising. This article here, it says, Graham Plattner is now holding the Democrat Party hostage, refusing to drop out unless he gets to name the successor. I'm sorry, I didn't know it worked like that. I didn't know that one man or some other people can go, okay, let's sit down, let's work this out, who's going to be our nominee. Now it's becoming too comfortable. When you can say this out loud, when you can actually just tell the people of Maine, oh, we're going to decide who's going to actually run against Susan Collins. After you went through an entire primary season, after you spent 30, 40, 50 million dollars, after you had all these rallies and having people hold up signs, Graham's the man and all this stuff. Now all of a sudden, sorry, we changed our mind. You see, don't get caught up in the story about what he's done and who he's done the thing to. Let the law take care of that. What you need to start focusing on is the evil that these people are executing. When you can write a story like this, when somebody can come out and say that in public, I'm not dropping out because of all the stuff that I did unless I get to pick who's my successor is. I want you to think about that long and hard. These people in Maine were bamboozled, hoodwinked, gaslit. Oh, he's the man. And they went to the polls and they said, okay, we think Graham Plattner is the guy we want to represent us. You know, that's the whole idea for voting, is having representation. So they went and they voted for this guy. And he won the nomination. He won the nomination. The voters confirm this is the person we want. But now, today, that's not important anymore. What's important is who gets to determine who's going to be the actual nominee. I want to be that person, says Graham Plattner. And the other people in the party are like, we want to be that person or people. And yet the poor people of Maine right now are looking around at each other in barbershops and coffee shops and going, what about us? What do we do? This is where you're going with the Democrat Party. It's already worked for them. And now they're doing it again. They're saying, hey, nobody could really stop us before. We got the brain dead guy out. We somehow got people to vote for him. And then we pulled the plug on him and we get to say who runs. Every single day, these people complain about democracy, democracy. But look what they're doing right now in the state of Maine. Step back from the crap that they're saying and realize what's really happening is a subversion of democracy. It is communism in essence. They have just told the people of Maine, sorry, you don't count. They're trying to erase the results of a valid primary. They're trying to get rid of this guy who actually won the primary. He got the votes. Don't know how, don't know why, but those are the people, they voted for him. And now, all of a sudden, because there's more accusations, which we all knew this guy was scumbag emeritus, now all of a sudden, we're going to have to change him out. Oh, we get to vote again? Not so fast, my friends. No. You voted for that guy who's no longer going to be our person, and now he's gone, and so now we're going to pick somebody else. You mean someone who never ran in the primaries? Somebody who never got one single vote? I don't know what you call that, but I'm pretty sure you don't call that democracy. I think we can label that the Democrat machine, the Commiecrat machine. They're doing what they do best, which is bamboozle people. And then you have to realize how many of those votes were real that he got and how many of those votes were fake. How did they get those people to stand up behind him and hold signs? You got people on television going, I would hold my nose and vote for him instead of Susan Collins. Was that their pitch? But let's say that was the pitch. Let's say the pitch was, he's a scumbag, but he's our Nazi. And it's still better than having, somebody in there who might vote for Donald Trump. So in essence, these women don't really matter. We just need to beat Trump. And the voters, yeah, you're right. Let's go with that. Now it's like, we don't think he can actually win, so we need to pick somebody else. We need to override you stupid people here in Maine. Because right now, if you're in Maine, that's what they're saying. They're saying, you're too stupid to see what we just did to you. So we did that nationally to Democrats a couple of years ago. They were too stupid to see it coming. They really believed us when we said Joe Biden was the best version of himself ever, and he's as sharp as a tack. You really believe the media. Oh, don't worry about the Nazi tattoo and all the, weenie pics and everything else and the other women. No, he's the best version of himself. Until we decide he no longer is. That's the story. And people aren't talking about it. And it has to be snipped in the bud, because if they did it in a presidential election and now they're doing it once again in a senatorial election, what stops them from rolling this out nationwide and go, put anybody in there? I don't care. Put the garbage man in there. Put $40 million, let him get the votes in the primary, and then we'll yank him for who we really want. Over and over and over. By the way, you didn't think the powers that be were really going to let these socialist commies win things, did you? They saw what happened in New York when they left it up to people, and they're like, that ain't gonna work. Nope, he can stay in New York because, as you know, New York's not the center of the world. That's just New York. So let's lay this out plain and simple. On June 9th of this year, Graham Plattner won the Democrat primary for the United States Senate in Maine. He won. He beat all of the other candidates supposedly fair and square. The voters in that primary chose him. Warts, bumps, boils, and all. They chose him. Now here we are, just over a month later, and now more stuff keeps coming out, it's not new. Jake Tapper didn't just all of a sudden find this woman. They knew. They all knew. But here we are in July, and the entire Democrat establishment is in full panic mode, it seems. Oh, he's got to go. Bernie Sanders, oh, he's got to go. We can't have this. They all want him gone. They want him to drop out now. Why? Because of these serious allegations that have surfaced? Hell no. They want him to drop out because they get to call the shots. They get to decide who is going to be the candidate, and they're giving the double-barreled middle finger to the people of Maine, and they're almost daring them to do something about it. Because that's what's really happening. The people of Maine are sitting on their hands going, but I voted for this guy. And the Democrats in charge are like, we don't care. Tough turkey. What they're doing is completely destroying the electoral process in itself. They waited. They purposely waited until after the July 4th holiday. They waited until there was just about 1 week left before the so-called legal deadline. And now, with everything supposed to be confirmed by July 13th, oh, by the way, and you guys thought in Maine that you voted for him in the primary back in June. Silly rabbits. Now they've issued the code red. The major Democrats started pulling their endorsements. Chuck Schumer, Kristen Gillibrand, Ro Khanna, the main Democrat Party itself. Even today, Bernie Sanders, like, he got to go, who had been one of his biggest backers, now says, get the hell out. Elizabeth Warren, he's a dead Tom Turkey. He's absolutely done. They all said they're not going to back him. The Democrat Party openly just said, we're not going to spend another dime on your race. That's nice for you to say after you spent 40 plus million of people's money. By the way, how many people could you have fed with 40 million backing Graham Plattner? By the way, how many people could have, maybe bought houses or had some affordable housing with the 40 million you spent on Graham Plattner? Those things never get asked by the Democrats. It's always those guys spending money. It's always them. Never look at what, Reid Hoffman or Neville Singham or some of these guys are spending, or the Soros family. Never, don't talk about that. This evil empire we're building here, we control it. Look at what's really going on. They are twisting every arm they can possibly find, and they're doing it with the clock ticking down to July 13th, and they're doing it in full view of the public. Both us and the people of Maine can see what they're doing. They don't care. Get out so we can replace him. And I think that's the biggest thing people need to really focus on is they are telling voters, go pound sand. We don't care that you voted for him. We will now decide who it will be. And here's where it really gets rich. Graham Plattner now is refusing to walk away. And so I want to show you more of this article with him saying, Graham Plattner holding Dem party hostage, refusing to drop out unless he gets to name successor. It says here, Maine Democrat candidate Graham Plattner appears to be holding the Democrat Party hostage, refusing to drop out after he was accused of what he did unless he gets to approve the successor. Does this sound familiar? Well, if it does, then you were paying attention back when Bernie and Hillary were going. If you weren't, you should have things, get some education here, because this is exactly, Bernie's like, I'm not backing out. Funny, now Bernie has 3 houses. He's got a book deal where they're laundering money to buy his books and nobody's reading. And he's got a summer house and a camp. And wow, Bernie, you got 3 houses all of a sudden. You got book deals, you're making millions, and all you had to do was drop out. And all your dreams came true and all your socialist commie nightmares ended. And now you got the same thing happening here. I ain't going anywhere. A source familiar with the campaign discussions said Plattner, his campaign, and political strategist Morris Katz are deliberating about the main Democrat dropping out, but only if his replacement shares his left-wing values. Oh, so you only leave if another commie gets nominated. You know that ain't gonna happen. You're going to see Graham Plattner in a week or so come out and make a speech, and then he'll have a huge parachute. He'll end up having a windfall from this. Get a couple million. Go away. So right now you're having negotiations behind the scenes, and those negotiations behind the scenes are, what do I get? What do I get for me to leave? I already know I'm a dead man walking, but I know a lot. I know what you guys did here. And so as you hear this and as you read what he says, you have to realize at this point that this entire party is bullcrap. This entire party is built on an illusion of democracy. The entire party is being orchestrated and manipulated by a very select few that want to make it even more select. We'll never know who these people are behind the scenes. These people are the ones who just cut checks and decide who the kings they are going to make. And Graham Plattner is smart enough to realize, well, even if you get rid of me, I want another me. I want a mini me to show up. And I'm like, no, that ain't gonna happen. All right, well, then I'll just stay here. I'll stay. It says the clock is ticking, which he knows, for the 41-year-old oyster farmer, which he's not, to withdraw and be replaced on the ballot. It says the vibes to me like a play from a Bernie Sanders to slide in Troy Jackson, sources say. Yeah, they want to just put in their person. They want to put in the guy who most appeals to Bernie Sanders, but the elites in the party aren't going to let that happen. They already got rid of the governor. She was trying to run, and they cleared a path for the commie because they realized the commie could get all these votes and get people together. And when he won, now all of a sudden, all this stuff with different women come out the woodwork. Now they know, did you really do another one like that? Yeah. Did you get drunk and climb in another window? Yeah. And you know there's more. You know, they're just lined up like they're waiting for a bus at this point. Guys that do that don't stop. But now you got Plattner saying, I'm not going anywhere until you let me decide who the replacement will be. He wants somebody who will share his exact view. Think about this for a second. He wants someone who shares his exact views. His left-wing, progressive views. He's basically telling the Democrat Party at this point, I'll step aside, but only if I get to pick the guy. How is that your view? You see, that sounds very communistic, doesn't it? I'm the one who's going to pick the person. That means you don't care about so-called democracy. You don't care about a republic. This is complete power negotiation. They are going to decide for the people in Maine who you get. And you'll accept it. You'll smile and you'll shut up. Do you see the hypocrisy here? Not a lot of people point it out because it's so disgusting and sinister and heinous. The Democrats spent years telling us that Donald Trump was the greatest threat to democracy in American history, and they have been doing it the entire time and telling people, don't look over here. They said Joe Biden was perfect. Yanked him, stuck in Kamala. She lost. That was their training ground. That was like my grandson here in the heat, getting a lather. Now we know how this works. Now we can do this all over the country. We can go ahead and run a race. And if we lose the race, actually, not if we don't lose the race, we'll win the race. We'll put anybody out there. If they can fog a mirror, we'll put them out there. The problem is that they started seeing the numbers, and when the numbers came out, let me show you the latest numbers on where they are. They're like, this isn't going to work anymore. Latest numbers, I don't know who this pollster is, so numbers may vary, but it says Susan Collins 65, Graham Plattner 34. He's getting absolutely crushed. So now we got to change up, but you shouldn't be able to. You should have to dance with the person who brought you there. You don't get to shrug and go, hey, relief pitcher, bring somebody else in out the bullpen. That's not how elections are supposed to work. That's not how democracy is supposed to work. They said that President Trump would install himself as a dictator when they realized, well, you should realize that no dictator ever installs himself. They do exactly what the Democrat Party is doing right now. A group of select people will decide who runs what. Not the Republicans who want to destroy our democracy. You're looking at it in Maine in full view. The Democrat Party is doing everything it can to get rid of the candidate who won the primary. And now because they don't like the result or because he's getting killed in the polls, they need to find a way to undo it. Like a mulligan, like I said, like it never happened. You've seen this movie before, but you may not have realized what you were looking at. And those of you who have been astute in politics and realized everything that went on with Bernie Sanders when he won all those primaries, and the superdelegates and the party bosses made sure Hillary Clinton got the nomination. Most of us didn't pay attention because we were Republicans. Like, I don't care. Bernie, Hillary, bring it on. Trump's going to beat whoever you bring out. But that's not the problem. The problem is now we're seeing them evolve. No criminal mastermind stops with one crime. Not when they realize if they can make it good across different locations. What mattered to them was that the machine was honed. The engine was really greased. Now they know how to do it. And you saw it. And now they're coming back at it, and they're going to do it in little races as well. And don't think that Maine will be the last time. Now that they know, especially if they get away with it next week, now that they know, and you'll see it happen, watch the signals. You got a week to go. July 13th or 14th, everything finalizes. Watch how it works. Watch who picks. Who are going to be the people to determine who's going to run in Maine. You probably won't see them. They'll be shadowy figures somewhere. There will be no new primary. There will be no new votes from the people. Just the party elites deciding who the nominee should be. And then, dutifully, obligatorily, the media and the other Democrats will fall right back in place. This is the new person. They have been crowned. And let's go ahead and destroy as much as we can Susan Collins and just support this new commie or elitist and erase from your mind, like Will in Men in Black. And they get a little brainy racy thing. And it'll just be back to one harmonious, crazy party. Like it never even happened. But you have to focus on it because now you know their intent, now you know their strategy, and now over the next 7 days, just watch this diabolical, arrogant strategy play out. And as you watch it, you will be stunned. You will not believe that it's actually working for them. The media, like I said, will fall right in place. The other Democrats will fall right in place. And it'll be, hey, we have a champion of the people here. But when the people in a primary actually voted and picked somebody, and the Washington insiders decide they don't like that person for whatever reason, suddenly the people don't matter anymore. And so it'll be back to gaslighting and MK Ultraing these people because they also will fall in line. They have no choice. This is who they are. This is how they've been bred, and it will continue to go this way until good people stop it. And that's why you should care. I don't expect you to care about a Democratic race in Maine. I want you to be astute enough to see what happens over the next week and see what they're now building. They are building a strategy where at any time, at any place, they can, without the will of the voters, change a candidate and put anybody they want in. Watch the rules and how they start writing them differently in your state. In fact, find out in your state what happens if they want to pull somebody out. Find out in your state if this happened, I don't know, in Kentucky. Something's going on there too. What happens if you have to yank somebody out? How do they do it in a primary? Edify yourself, be careful, understand. I'm not trying to be any hyperbolic metaphoric thing here. They're doing it. You know, hyperbole is when you blow something out of proportion, but when we've seen it happen in the presidential election, and now we're seeing it happen once again, you have no way to look away from what these Democrats are capable of doing. After all, they tried to shoot President Trump. They tried to impeach him 3 or 4 times. They tried to indict him 25 different times in different states. They tried to steal his property. They tried to steal his businesses. Doing this to the people of Maine, that's no big deal. That's just, they do that in half a day probably. But you now have to slap yourself, wake up, and see what's going on. See, right now they like the sensationalist of it. Oh, he did this to a woman. But that's not the scandal. I don't care about Graham Plattner. I don't know him, don't want to know him. I care about our process, our electoral process, and understanding what's right and what's wrong. And they are taking everything away from people who are in the Democrat Party, who are voting for Democrats, and not realizing they're being used. There's a lot of things I don't like, and probably the top of that is being used. On you. All right, SV, what you got, man?
Oh my gosh, I need my own show, man. I have so much news lined up. I don't think I have enough time. You're about 45 minutes into your intro, and I could be here for another 45 minutes. What in the heck?
Oh gosh. There's so much going on, man.
It is. It's just crazy. I had some stuff lined up. I know we can't get to all of it, but
oh, you got that much?
I have 2 stories to update about the strikes over in Iran. So the bottom 2 stories, one first from Eric and the other from Breaking, just to give more context of what's going on.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So President Trump's strikes against Iran tonight are being described as punishment, not proportional after the mullahs violated the MOU and struck vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. That's CNN citing a U.S. official. And President Trump is safe at his hotel tonight in Turkey and made clear he's not afraid to unleash regardless of where he is. See, I think Iran didn't expect him to do that. So, well, guess what? FAFO.
He's in Turkey. We'll be okay. We can act like it. Hey, but you know what's funny about that thing you read? When he said it's punishment. So basically what you're saying is
Punisher.
Daddy's out of the country right now, so we can go and do all kinds of stupid stuff. And Daddy's like, nope, no, you can't. Okay? Oh man.
He sees all, he knows all, no matter where he's at. So
you ever get that call when you were in high school from your father or your mom, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
I'm getting PTSD, Barry. Stop.
I remember back in high school, just screwed, messed with my head. Friend of mine was like, hey, my mom and dad had to go away for the weekend. We're going to have a party and we sleep over and everything. Let's bring the keg over. And his mom and dad were gone for about 6 hours and doubled back home just to see what we were doing. And we're all sitting there like, oh. They didn't say a word. They went up to their rooms and went to bed. The next day, Next day at about 5:30 in the morning, his mom woke us all up and she had made like eggs and omelets and said, eat. And we're like,
Green face. You know, it's funny. My brothers were so slick. So my parents had like a bar downstairs, and by the time, you know, I was of age probably to like have a sample, I think all the booze was full of water because they kept on take some out, put water in. Oh, my dad would be like, this doesn't taste like alcohol.
we drank.
He knew all the tricks. Yes.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Yes, this one here. So this gives you an idea of what they did tonight. So according to Axios, the U.S. retaliatory strikes targeted, let me bring it up here, targeted Iran's air defense systems, coastal surveillance sites, surface-to-air missiles, anti-ship cruise missile positions, drone launch sites, and port facilities across southern Iran. I actually saw a video where there was a big fire at one of the, gas storage areas. It was like a huge fire, and other stuff where I'm not going to show you, but I'll just read quickly. So apparently they blew up stuff in the Quesh Island in southern Iran. They did other retaliatory strikes in Sarik and Bandar Abbas, another part of southern Iran. So he targeted all over. Also, they blew up a couple of the fast boats that they were using, you know, those little tiny boats which don't last very long. It's like doing those narco strikes, you know, like.
How does Iran get people to drive those boats?
They're promised they're promised 72 versions. I think that's what it is, right?
Hey, man,
whatever that is.
Get in the boat and drive. No, I don't want to do that, right?
It's crazy. I mean,
my
they
God.
gotta be running out of stuff. I mean, they're down to a couple of rowboats pretty soon. You know, I mean, I know, you know, they're reinforcing some of their, you know, ports and stuff down there, and they're getting some reinforcements, but they can't have much left. I mean, they're definitely. It's not like they're flying their jets around. There's nothing going up in the air, right?
They're like gnats. They're like gnats and no seams. You know, like about 5:30, you got to see that no seams just bother you, and you're like, "Get away from me!" I'm like, "Gosh, God, it's crazy." Did you hear about this? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Did you hear about this story from Judge Spooky?
Yes, I posted that too. Right? Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So,
my story on here is the right. Let's see. Mine was from Eric. So yeah, Trump, Florida federal judge. Just I'm reading the one from Eric, if it's okay. It's about 4 up from the bottom.
I think I have it here.
Yeah, this one goes into a little more detail. Yes,
that one. Okay,
that's it. Okay, so in a massive ruling, a Trump, Florida federal judge just overruled the foreign-born activist Judge Sparkle Suknian and reinstates the SAFE system that lets President Trump's team root out illegal aliens trying to vote in elections. So Judge Kent Wetherell, right, that's a tongue tire, of Florida confirmed plaintiffs' access to the book upload and SSN search features in the SAFE system. He called out her ruling saying SAFE systems do not violate the law. That's the exact system that Sukanan ruled against. So we have a judicial war going on. Now they're saying, let's impeach the foreign judge and confirm more, just like Wetherell.
All right. So what's the hierarchy here? The Judge Spooky, I mean, I don't know what she does. And now this guy shows up. He's like, no, you don't got to do that. I'm like, what is going on? Aren't you guys looking at the same law book? I mean, are you looking at two different law books here?
The last thing I knew is that President Trump is the one that has the last say. So, I mean, all these judges got to, like, you know, and didn't the Supreme Court say that they can't do this? So they just keep coming up stuff, you know, you can't do it. You can't do it. But, you know, just as you can see here, you know, it gets overruled. Somebody actually reads the law and comes out with the truth. And she's just, yeah.
But I'd love to know under what statute, A, she had the right to do it, and B, he had the right to overrule her. It just seems like they're all out there just making their own decisions at this point.
Yeah, I was trying to look into a little bit more actually what it was about, but it's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo. But yeah, so there you go. So she got overruled, and I'm sure there'll be another judge tomorrow said they'll overrule him, who overruled her, and we're back to square one.
Oh gosh,
I'm getting whiplash here, with these judges, these rogue judges, crazy.
All right, good.
Yes. So no, I had a longer thing. Something, Ali Bradley. She does a lot of. She has her channel which shows a lot of stuff that's going on with the southern border. And I sent you.
I got it.
But this is kind of long. I don't know if you want to cover this now, but it was very interesting to me.
No, go ahead. I can't show the pictures, obviously, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. This is a long one. All right. So federal prosecutors have unsealed an indictment charging alleged senior Sinaloa cartel leader Carlos Paez Parida, a.k.a. Carlitos.
You did that well.
Thank you. I thank God I had 4 years of Spanish. I could still. Me llamo es. ¿Dónde está el baño?
Oh God.
In Carlitos Rugrats with narco-terrorism and providing material support to terrorism, marking one of the first major cases against an alleged Sinaloa cartel leader since the cartel was designated a foreign terrorist organization. So I thought that was very interesting. According to the indictment, the 30-year-old allegedly led the violent Los Rugrats faction aligned with the Mayo Zambada wing of the Sinaloa cartel, overseeing the trafficking of massive quantities of fentanyl, meth, and cocaine to the U.S. while using unaliving, kidnappings, armed enforcers, and intimidation to protect the organization. Prosecutors allege Parida imported tens of thousands of kilograms of narcotics into the United States over the past decade, laundered hundreds of millions of dollars in drug proceeds, and supplied fighters, weapons, logistics, and funding during the cartel's violent internal war. He was designated a U.S. Treasury drug kingpin in 2025. This case is investigated by the FBI, DEA, HSI, and local partners through the California Homeland Security Task Force, was brought under authorities created following President Trump's designation of the Sinaloa cartel as a foreign terrorist organization. So this is huge. This is huge. So part of that southern, the Avengers thing going on. I think there's going to be more of this and more to the story as we go on.
And see, the thing when you read these kind of articles where you have to realize, okay, they busted this guy, and now they start connecting the dots. And here's the dots I want. Okay, so this part right here. Over the past decade, he laundered hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't do that on your own.
Yeah. There's a lot of other people underneath him, right? So
yeah. So they just told us right there, there's a whole lot more in this net that they've caught. Who did you launder the money to? How did you launder that money? What did they do with the money when they got it? Hundreds of millions? Wow. Wow.
I believe he was feeding like the TDA and all the other gangs that had come in through Mr. Potato Head's Auto Pens 4 years thing, and they were being funded. I'm sure that's where it was going, right? It was just a regular highway of drugs and guns and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we saw what was going on in Colorado when they were banging down doors. Of course, the libs at the time, there's nothing to see here, nothing to see, as everything's burning down to the ground.
But just like with the Somalis, when you look at this and find out this guy is 30 years old, right? If he's 30 years old, and it says here over the past decade, you're telling me young Juan here.
Yo no say.
Young Juan turned into a hundreds of millions of dollar money launderer at the age of the ripe age of 21. He had to have known all this stuff, put it all together. Yeah. Come on. I mean,
he was groomed. Groomed. Obviously, yes.
I read this stuff and I look soft disclosure. And and the people who like us are reading it, who are involved. Oh, wait a second. Hold on.
To the U.S. to waiting FBI agents. The incident embarrassed Mexico. How could Zambada escape flying undetected into U.S. airspace, assisted by the FBI, without alerting Mexico? The abduction set off a cartel civil war. U.S. Ambassador at the time, Ken Salazar, insisted the U.S. had nothing to do with the operation, and since, he has said nothing to contradict it.
You see what I'm saying? You see,
Barry, I swear I don't know that these stories are going to come on. I'm not talking to these people. I think they're listening to me or something.
I mean,
wow.
There's too many webs here. I mean, it's like, wait a second. So they just happened to, hey, we lost him. He got out. We don't know what happened to him. Okay. And then the other guy from the Biden. Wow.
Amazing.
It just keeps happening.
Well, the plot thickens. All right, I'll keep you posted. If anything pops up on the Iran situation, I will text you and I'll send it to you right away.
So before I go to the commercial break, want to let you guys know this, that we're about to do another trivia question.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, yesterday we gave out $100 gift card. The gentleman who won, he's already received his. He's probably out shopping or something. So
he said he spent it.
Did he say it? He already spent it.
He said I'd have it spent by 7 p.m. tonight. He was laughing.
That tells me it's a 6-pack or 2.
Don't know.
All right, so here we go with the next one. All right, you guys got your fingers ready, because I'm sure a bunch of people
got chat.
They're going to try and Google this. They're going to try and chat GTP, and it might be Googleable, but you'd have to know what to Google. So here is today's trivia question: $100 gift card. You got to give SV your real name, your email, and your phone number, and then all of a sudden, tomorrow sometime, a email will come in, and you will be given a free gift card for $100. Just that simple. All right, here comes the question. Ready?
Right, looking at the chat.
I'm gonna have to get Tommy to give me that drum roll again, but here comes the drum roll. In order to build one of his iconic buildings, President Trump bought the air rights over a famous jewelry store. What was the jewelry store? In order to build one of his iconic buildings, he bought the air rights over a famous jewelry store. What was the name of that jewelry store? All right, so after the break, we will come back and talk to the winner about how they knew this information, because it's pretty cool. All right, so I want to tell you guys about this. Yesterday we talked about it, had 24 hours. We are still within the 24-hour period. If you would like to buy a Silver Eagle, it's open to everybody right now. While supplies last, that type of thing, you have to go ahead and go to the website and berrycoinoffer.com. And if you go to berrycoinoffer.com, you will see this website right here. This website owns physical silver below the spot price. And as you scroll down here, it tells you what the price you can buy it at right now in terms of its fluctuation. So that the spot price is what they would normally sell it for, but you can buy it right now, one coin. You don't have to have a big investment into it. You can get it for $59.50. Right there. Spot price access include free shipping, sales tax is 0, limit 1 coin per person. And you can get it right there and just have to click the button that says claim my silver offer. And then it explains here, why would we sell silver below spot? Because trust matters more than a one-time premium. So you can buy yours right now. It's a one-time offer. It will be expiring tonight, I believe. Go to berrycoinoffer.com and you can get a Silver Eagle for right now. Looks like the price that they've got on here is $59, and here is the actual coin right there. That's an American Eagle. Right there. You guys can get it. Enjoy. Go get one. And I'll talk to you in a second. Actually, before I go, see if SV's got a winner. Did you get a winner?
Yes, we do. We have a winner. The winner is ShopGirl34. Again, it was on Rumble. It was the first one. I had both windows open. She had the first correct response. Congratulations, ShopGirl34. Please send me your real name, phone number, and email address. Thank you.
Let me show everybody what I was talking about. And it says Donald Trump famously, if you read the book Art of the Deal, you know this. If you didn't read the book, you might not know this. But as you can see, Donald Trump purchased the air rights above Tiffany and Company flagship store on Fifth Avenue during the 1980s. He acquired it for roughly $5 million. This transaction allowed him to add 20 extra stories to Trump Tower, and it prevented competitors from building above Tiffany's. The acquisition remains a legendary piece of the New York real estate lore that he created just for Trump. Nobody had ever done that before. So just so you know, air rights, there's a building here, and whatever that building is, you're supposedly own the air rights, meaning people can't build over your house.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
You can't build. Here's my house. You can't build over my house. And he went to Tiffany's and said, "Can I buy that?" Oh,
you're buying free air?
Yeah, this is the easiest $5 million we've ever made. We're gonna. This guy Trump is stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness.
You have to read about it in the book. It's like the people from Tiffany's were like, "You're gonna give us $5 million? Yeah, for air? Yep, that's all." Okay.
And how much has he made since then on those 20 stories? I mean,
one apartment.
yeah. One apartment, $5 million.
And if you get the book, The Art of the Deal, it explains the entire transaction and how it went forward and everything else. And I remember reading that part, going, "This is insane. This is absolutely insane that they thought they had, got this schmuck Trump who didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he bought the air rights and then got an extra 20 stories because he read the zoning and it allowed him to build a skyscraper."
Amazing.
So when I hear these people say he doesn't know what he's doing, yeah, you guys don't even have a clue. All right, I'll be right back, and we'll head to Turkey after this.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
First here, on the occasion of the NATO summit, I would like to welcome my valuable friend, Mr. President Trump, who has participated here today with us and added strength to the summit that we are convening for.
Ve bu ziyaretin ne kadar önemli olduğunu özellikle ifade etmek istiyorum.
And I would like to express how important this summit is that we are here gathering for.
NATO Liderler Zirvesi'nin bugün Ankara'da yapılıyor olması ve tüm liderlerin şu anda ülkemizde bir araya gelmesi, yarın değerli dostum Sayın Trump'la birlikte olması bizlere ayrı bir güç katacaktır.
The fact that we are convening here today for the NATO Ankara summit and that all the leaders are arriving and tomorrow with the presence of President Trump, which will be adding might and strength to our summit.
Kendilerine tekrar hoş geldiniz diyorum.
Once again, I would like to say welcome, Mr. President.
Well, I want to thank you very much. As everybody knows, it's been very much reported. We are great friends. The president has done an incredible job just landing at the airport, to see such a beautiful airport, and to have a building named after me. I was very happy about that. That was very nice. The airport is absolutely beautiful. The roads coming in were brand new and beautiful, and you've been a great leader and a respected leader all over the world, and we really do. We've had right from the beginning good chemistry. We've had a very special relationship. Turkey has become, under the president, a very powerful country militarily. People don't know how powerful, actually. They have a lot of our equipment, and they have a lot of great soldiers, and they're really somebody to be reckoned with. And the nice part is that because of the relationship that we have, it's all gone very well. I just want to say that I have a lot of respect for the president, and I think it's really to the benefit of both countries. We're going to be talking today about trade. We're going to be talking about other things having to do with the military, lots of different things. Probably we'll mention Iran, where we have essentially decimated their military. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And we're going to have some very good discussions. But we do a lot of trade with Turkey. We make great things, and they make great things, and we've had it's had a very big impact on both of our countries. So I just want to tell you that it's an honor to be with you, and we're going to have a lot of good meetings. We're going to have good dinners, good food. We're going to have a good time, but mostly we're going to have a lot of work, and we're going to do good things for our countries. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, havama kadar geldiniz. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz o yüzden. Çok uzun süren bir dostluğumuz var, biliyorsunuz. Son derece saygı duyduğum, yakın bulduğum bir insansınız. Buradaki buluşmalarımızda, görüşmelerimizde 3 konudan bahsedeceğiz. Askeri, ticari ve bir de İran konusundan bahsedeceğiz. Gerçekten çok güçlüsünüz. Çok güçlü askeri ve silah sanayi açısından çok güçlü bir yerdesiniz şu anda. Dolayısıyla teşekkür ediyorum ve çok iyi bir vakit geçirdiğinize inanıyorum.
Thank you.
Very much.
Okay.
Mr. President, are you going to sell F-35s to Turkey, and what about the legal restrictions?
Well, it's a decision we're going to make. We have a very good relationship. I would think that many people, I can tell you, many people, including the people sitting right here, thinks, why wouldn't we do that? We have a better relationship with Turkey, and Turkey's been in many ways much more loyal than other countries that we think would be loyal.
All right, so he's talking about selling F-35 jets to Turkey, which has got the Democrats losing their minds. The Democrats and the rhinos and the panicans are all freaking out that President Trump is going to be selling the F-35s. And he tells you the reason why he wants to sell Turkey the F-35s. And it's something that he's said many times that the Democrats have tried to use as a bad thing. And his reasoning, as he just started to mention, is loyalty. That's what he looks for in people. And the Democrats treat that as if it's a bad thing.
So, yeah, it's something certainly we would consider. It's a great plane. It's the best, currently the best plane by far. And it's certainly something we will consider, yeah. Yes, Daniel, please. You never know why a relationship is special. Some people you get along with, and some people you don't. Sometimes you get along with the toughest people, like him, and sometimes you don't get along with the weakest, most pathetic people. You just don't get along. Maybe you don't respect them, but you know, from the day we met, we got along. We had a pastor, as I remember, his name was Pastor Brunson, and it was a very big thing, and it was very traumatic. He was sentenced to a long-term prison sentence, and I felt he was innocent, and I called. Other people called. They got nowhere. I called the president, and he released him immediately. It was something that the evangelical community will never forget, and because he was a good man, Pastor Brunson. So, you know, just things like that. We just have always. It's always worked out. And I think it's been from the very beginning, from the first moment. It's just, I said it before, it's a chemistry that works between us. There are those that I don't have a good chemistry with, I will tell you that. And we work that out too.
Mr. President, are further troop drawdowns in Europe are you likely to announce further troop drawdowns in Europe?
Say it?
Are further troop drawdowns in Europe likely? And are you satisfied with the progress that NATO allies have made?
Well, we're going to see. I was very disappointed with NATO. And frankly, if it weren't held in Turkey, where my friend happens to be a very strong leader, a very strong person, it's possible that I wouldn't have attended. I felt I had to attend because of the fact that, you know, I know he's gone all out. It was a big thing to have NATO come to Turkey or any place else. It's a big thing. But we weren't treated well because we did something in Iran. We don't need anybody's help. I didn't even want their help. But before I asked, they said they wouldn't be there. And we've invested trillions of dollars in NATO. Why? To protect European countries and others, Canada, etc., but to protect people, countries from, generally speaking, it used to be the Soviet Union, now it's Russia. And I say that's fine, but you would think that they'd be very willing to do something to help us, and they really weren't. In the case of the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, I guess he's no longer there, maybe because of this. It was a very unpopular thing he did. He said, no, we'll help after the war is over. I said, I don't need that kind of help. We didn't need any help at all. And in a way, I was testing people. I was testing to see whether or not they'd be there, because I've long said that we helped them, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. And Italy turned us down, and Germany turned us down, and France turned us down. And it's okay. But, you know, why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars and they're not there for us? We've always been there for them.
Türkiye ile Suriye arasında Türkiye'de efendim
İran'daki savaşın sona erdirilmesi için oldukça çaba sarf ettiniz. Müzakere süreci devam ediyor ancak nihai bir anlaşma noktasına gelinmiş değil. Bundan sonraki süreçte Türkiye nasıl adımlar atacak İran ve ABD arasındaki müzakere sürecinin olumlu bir şekilde neticelenmesi için?
Bu süreçte yine aynı şekilde bizler İran-Amerika ilişkilerini nasıl bir düzleme kavuştururuz? Onun gayreti içerisindeyiz. Elimizden geleni yapmak suretiyle dünya barışına bir adım atalım diye gerek şahsım, gerek arkadaşlarım hep birlikte çalışıyoruz, çalışacağız.
sormak isterim ben sizlere. 80 bine yakın insan hayatını kaybetti Gazze'de. Çok büyük de bir yıkım var. Ateşkes sağlandı ama yer yer bu ihlaller devam ediyor. Ateşkes ihlallerinin önlenmesi için, insani yardımların Gazze'ye girebilmesi için, ayrıca Gazze'nin yeniden inşa edilebilmesi için önümüzdeki süreçte ortak atabileceğiniz adımları değerlendirecek misiniz muhatabınızla? Müsaade buyururlarsa kendisinin de bu konudaki fikirlerini almak isteriz. Teşekkür ederiz efendim.
Özellikle Gazze konusunda tabii değerli dostumla bunları da konuşarak özellikle bu bölgedeki barışı sağlama için bu liderler zirvesini çok önemsiyoruz ve bu liderler zirvesinden aynı şekilde bir kararın çıkmasını da hayra yorumluyoruz ve bunun olabileceğine de ben ihtimal veriyorum.
Efendim, Türkiye-ABD ilişkilerinin geliştiği bir dönemi gözlemliyoruz. 2025 yılında geçen yıl Amerika Birleşik Devletleri'ne yaptığınız ziyarette önemli ticari anlaşmalar da imzalandı. Suriye konusunda Türkiye'nin önemli bir aktör olduğunu söylemişti Sayın ABD Başkanı. Şimdi yeni dönemde gelmeden önce de Sayın Trump bir sürprizle geliyorum ifadesini kullandı. F-35'i, Kaan savaş uçaklarının motorlarını konuştuk. Acaba gündeme gelebilir mi şeklinde. Siz bu sürprizin ne olduğunu düşünüyorsunuz? Türkiye bugünkü görüşmelerden sonra istediğini alabilecek mi? Teşekkür ederim.
Tabii F-35 konusu biliyorsunuz bizim için yeni bir konu değil ve bunu bizler Amerika ile daha önce de görüştük ve biz 5 uçağı da sözünü aldık ve Sayın Trump'ın bu konuda bize ayrıca sözü var ve şimdi de bu liderler zirvesinde yapacağımız görüşmelerde F-35 ile ilgili kendilerinden bu daha önce aldığımız sözün ben geleceğe yönelik olumlu şekilde test ettiğimizi biliyorum ve bu konuda da Sayın Trump her zaman sözünün arkasındadır. Burada yine inşallah F-35 konusunda bu liderler zirvesinden hayırlı bir karar çıkacağına inanıyorum.
What does that mean?
Is it going to be handed over to a third party? Is that not part of the deal?
Third party? What is the third, with respect to what?
There's our concerns about the Russian missile defense systems. Do you have those concerns about this system? Are they going to
I have no concerns at all about anything. I mean, he's a leader of a country that he's made a much better country, much more powerful country, and you see it. I mean, it's beautiful. You get off, the roads are beautiful. It's an amazing thing. Now, I have no concerns about anything having to do with Turkey. The relationship, I would say the relationship with Turkey right now is better probably than it's ever been. It was good in my first 4 years, but I think now it's probably even better than that, if that's possible.
Sir, U.S. military and Turkish military constitute a really strong and large military base for NATO. Are we expecting further defense cooperation out of this bilateral meeting, out of this NATO summit here in Ankara?
Well, we're going to find out when I go there. We're going to find out. We're going to be having meetings. I'm very friendly with many of the leaders. You know, some of them are new. We don't know them. But, you know, I've been doing this for now sort of a long time. If you count the 4 years where we had a rigged election, you know, I was very much into politics then, too. But I spent the first 4 years. I spent 4 years in a little different state, and then we've had an amazing, probably the best year maybe ever had by an American president. When you look at the economy, we have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have $19 trillion, $19.2 trillion to be exact, being invested in the United States. That's 7 or 8 times more than it's ever had. It's a world record, not just a U.S. record. And I just read where, in fact, coming over, I was in the car with those beautiful horses, those great riders, those great soldiers, and it came over the wires that Toyota is moving out of Mexico into the United States and building one of the biggest truck and car plants ever built. It's amazing. That's what tariffs do, if properly used. And so we've never had a more exceptional economy or potential economy. There's never been anything like it. Under the last administration, they did much less than $1 trillion of investment coming in. And we're at 19.2 trillion in actually the first 12 months, because that's where it's, really, so we're there a year and a half, so that number is now substantially higher. But 19.2 trillion, Scott, for a period of 12 months, nobody's ever seen anything like that. So we have by far the greatest economy. We have more jobs right now in the United States than ever before. And we have a great relationship with some countries on trade, and Turkey happens to be one of them.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanım, siz her fırsatta dünya 5'ten büyüktür, daha adil bir dünya mümkün tutuyorsunuz. Bugün konuğumuz Sayın Trump, ABD Başkanı, onun da zaman zaman küresel sistemin mevcut durumuna ilişkin eleştirilerini biliyoruz. NATO'nun iki en büyük askeri gücü olarak bu noktada, bu eleştiriler doğrultusunda ortak bir adım, ortak bir girişimde bulunması önümüzdeki süreçte söz konusu olabilir mi?
NATO'da iki önemli ülke olarak gerek Amerika gerekse Türkiye, bizler bu liderler zirvesinden de dayanışma içerisinde güçlü bir çıkışı sağlayacağız ve bunu da başaracağımıza inanıyorum.
Bu yana arabuluculuk tesis ettiniz. İki ülkenin Dışişleri Bakanlarını Antalya Diplomasi Forumu'nda bir araya getirdiniz. İstanbul'da çok önemli müzakereler yürüttünüz. Bu zirve kapsamında da Sayın Trump'ın Sayın Zelenski ile görüşeceğini biliyoruz. Nihai aşama olarak hangi noktadayız? Savaşın sonlanması konusundaki gidişata ilişkin değerlendirmeniz nedir? Teşekkürler.
Antalya Diplomasi Forumu'nda Dışişleri Bakanlarımız bir araya geldiler. İstanbul müzakere sürecini de...
Is that for me? Are you asking me, or are you asking the president? The president, yes.
Biz Rusya-Ukrayna arasındaki bu gelişmeleri de yine değerli dostumla burada paylaşacağız, görüşeceğiz ve ona göre de adımlarımızı atacağız.
Televizyon kanalından Hatice Kübra Bal, benim sorum da aslında az önce biraz yanıtladınız ama Türkiye'nin 5. nesil uçağı Kaan motorları için F-110 motorlarından söz edeceğiz. Aynı zamanda kasa yaptırımları ve bu bağlamda da F-35 alımı ile ilgili aslında bu görüşmeden bir somut sonuç bekleyebilir miyiz? Onu merak ediyoruz.
Ben bunu daha önce değerli dostumla görüştüm ve Kaan'la ilgili onun motorları noktasında bu liderler zirvesinde bu görüşmeyi değerli dostumla tekrar bir araya geldik. Onu görüşeceğiz ve inanıyorum ki bununla ilgili bize verdiği müjdeyi burada da tekrar edecektir ve bu müjdeyle de herhalde liderler zirvesinde kendisine teşekkür edeceğiz.
You know, I might add that Turkey bought planes. It's the best plane. But they bought planes from the United States. And when you buy a plane from the United States, if there's engine rehab and other things that are done to engines, there's various things that happen, including just maintenance. I think we have an obligation to maintain engines and help them maintain engines. When you buy a plane from us, what are we going to say? You're buying a plane if the engine needs work, or if the engine has to be rehabilitated or even upgraded somewhat. But I think we have an obligation to do that. What are you going to do? Say, I'm not going to do that? Look, Turkey's been, I know, a lot of people don't agree, although I think with time they're starting to. Turkey has been a great ally for us. Turkey could have gone on the side. They know Iran very well. and they know the problems with Iran. But they've been very instrumental, along with a couple of other countries, of helping. They could have gotten into the fight. You know, I hear some people saying about their relationship with Israel. They could have gotten into the fight. They're a very powerful military nation. They didn't do that. Maybe they didn't do that because of me. But they could have gotten into the fight on the other side. They are a nation that's been very, very good, and I can speak for myself as president. They've been extraordinary in many ways with respect to our relationship, including trying to end the war with Iran, or whatever you call it. It's not even a war, it's a military operation. It's a denuclearization. That's really what it is, of Iran, because I don't think he wants to see them have a nuclear weapon either. I'm pretty sure of that. In fact, I'm totally sure of that. So, but when they buy a product from us, whether it's a plane or anything else, when it's time for maintenance, I think don't we have an obligation to help them? What are we going to do? Say we're not going to let you use the product that you spent a lot of money in buying? And especially when it's been somebody that frankly has been more helpful to the United States than many other more traditional countries.
You see, when he's talking about this, you can see he's kind of aggravated. He's not liking the fact that they're questioning his relationship with Turkey. Yet President Trump is one of those types of people, is he rewards loyalty. He can look over certain things that you do or certain things you believe, certain things that you say, but if you remain loyal to him, he will reward loyalty. A lot of people on the left don't understand that. It's completely foreign to them. And hopefully he's answering their questions right now. Why are you doing this? Because he had my back. That's the answer. There's no other alternatives. He had my back. And it's so foreign to these people that you would reward somebody who sticks up and stands behind you.
I do. I had a very good talk with President Putin, who, by the way, has a lot of respect for President Erdogan, a lot of respect for him. We had a long talk yesterday, it lasted a long time, and I also spoke with President Zelensky right after that. I think they both want to make a deal. It's too bad it took so long, but I think something's going to come out, and the president's also helping us with that. But I think there's something. You know, I settled 8 wars, and I think we're going to be settling a 9th. It doesn't seem likely now, but sometimes with war, I see when it's least likely, that's when it happens. I had a very good talk with President Putin. I had a very good talk with, I would say, as a combination. A lot of times I'd do well with Putin, and Zelensky would be a problem, or vice versa. Zelensky would be great, and Putin would be. They both want to get it settled now. More than that, that's all I do in my life is deals. I know deals. And I think I think we're going to get it settled, hopefully soon. Last month, 35,000, mostly soldiers, died. The month before that, it was 24,000. The month before that, it was 27,000. And the month before that, it was 29,000. But last month, it was 35,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, died. And that's crazy.
Bahsediyoruz ancak savunma sanayi işbirliğimizi sürdürebilmemiz için Amerika'nın katsayı yaptırımlarını da kaldırmış olması gerekiyor. Sayın Büyükelçi Barak burada kendisinin bu konuda aslında mesajları da oldu geçtiğimiz aylarda. Sayın Başkan'ın da bu konuda olumlu düşündüğünü biliyoruz. Hem ticaret hacmi hedefine ulaşmak hem de NATO zirvesinde burada Sayın Trump gelmeden önce de açıkladılar. Aslında Türkiye'nin hattıyla zirveye katıldığını da açıkladılar ama aynı zamanda katsayı yaptırımlarının Türkiye'ye uygulanıyor olmasının bir tezat olduğu düşünülüyor. Bu noktada bu görüşmede artık somut bir netice alınabilir mi? Ayrıca siz bunu gündeme taşıyacaksınızdır. Muhtemelen Sayın Başkanım da bu konudaki düşüncelerini de alabilirsem mutlu olurum. Teşekkür ediyorum.
I can tell you, we're going to be taking the sanctions off. Okay? I don't want him to waste his time answering that question because we're working very closely with Marco Rubio, very famous man, great Secretary of State, and with Scott Bessent and with Pete and everybody else, we're going to be taking the sanctions off. It's time to do that. Okay? We don't want to sanction friends. It's very simple. There's plenty of people we can sanction, and we are sanctioned. We don't want to sanction friends. And because of the president, you know, we have a very good relationship with the new leader of Syria, and he's done an amazing job. In a year and a half, he's pulled the whole country together. And I have a very great relationship with him. And somebody said, well, he's pretty rough to put him there. I approved him along with the president. We were the two that really wanted him. And he's done a great job. He's done a great job. He's pulled it together. Not an easy job.
Post yesterday with respect to Prime Minister Maloney, that True Social post with the restraining order.
Oh, I don't know. I think she's a nice person, actually. We've had a good, we had a bad relationship. It became a little bad because she refused.
He's talking about Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy. And of course, they're trying to get him to say something bad about her. But, you know, sometimes you just disagree with people, but doesn't mean you don't like them anymore. So this is who he's talking about, is Giorgia Meloni.
To help us. Again, I didn't put a heavy press on her, but she refused to get involved with the Hormuz Strait, or you could also say just Iran. She refused to get involved. So it soured my relationship with her a little bit. But I like her. I think she's a nice person, actually, but I think she made a mistake. You know, they get a lot of their oil from, we don't get any of our, we have a lot of oil. The United States has more oil than anybody. And when you add Venezuela to it, it's like we have far more oil than anybody. We don't need the straits. We do this because we think it's an important thing to do. But she just wasn't there for us, and I wasn't happy about that. You can imagine, I wasn't happy about that.
Why do you think that? What conditions have changed? Did Putin seem...
About with what?
Russia-Ukraine. Did Putin seem open to any concessions that he
Never
had?
changed. I just don't want him killing people. You know, it doesn't affect the United States. When Biden was here, he gave them hundreds of billions of dollars worth of equipment. Now I sell the equipment for, you know, fair price, the full price. And I sell it not to Ukraine, I sell it to the European Union. They pay us. But with me, it's not anything to do other than I'd like to save lives. You have 25, 35, 30. One time it hit 41,000 a month souls. They're dead. They leave their mother in Ukraine. They leave their mother and father in Russia, Ukraine. They wave goodbye. And a week later, they're dead. It's crazy. And I would like to see. It doesn't affect us. It's really, you know, it's far away. It affects Europe much more. We're there to help Europe. But it doesn't affect the United States. We have an ocean in between. But, you know, it's just, I can't stand watching what's happening. I've seen the pictures of those battlefields, and it's a drone war. It's a war of drones. It's a whole new technology. And we're actually the leader in drones now. We have the most sophisticated drones, but people wouldn't believe how violent it is. And I've seen the battlefields. They send me pictures. I actually want to say, don't send them to me. Pete, this man right here sends me pictures. Pete Hegseth. And I said, Pete, you know what? It doesn't help to look. I've never seen anything like it. It's carnage. And it should stop.
Open to any concessions to end the war? Did Putin seem open to any concessions to end the war in your call with him?
I get along very well with both, and we're going to get it settled. And President Erdogan's helping us get it settled, as he's helping with Iran. With respect to what? Well, that's what hurt my relationship with NATO, because Greenland doesn't help Denmark. Denmark doesn't spend money to really help Greenland, but it's an important part for the United States. And it's surrounded by China ships and Russian ships. And that's not going to happen. The ships it's not going to happen. It was Greenland that, and it continues to be, That should be controlled by the United States, not by Denmark. And when they wouldn't go along with it, and with all the money we spend to help them with Russia, and we don't have to spend any money, we could remove all of our soldiers out of Europe. Because as you probably noticed, Europe's a very different place than it was 20 years ago. A lot different, much different. It's a much different, and they better be careful with immigration and energy. If they're not careful with those two things, you're not going to have a Europe anymore. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, so I want you, he just dismissed the press in somebody else's castle. I would have thought that Erdogan would have to say, okay, you're done. President Trump took the reins and said, we're done here. But watch what happens at the very end of this as the cameras were still rolling.
Değerli arkadaşlar,
One thing, it's amazing.
I don't know who he was talking about. He's like, geez, this is amazing. So I don't know who he was talking about there. But you saw a president overseas doesn't look real happy with some of these European countries. He's friends with Erdogan. He's going to sell him the jets. Kind of like was standoffish about Meloni in Italy. Didn't say anything really negative. Just said we didn't get along for a short period there. And then tomorrow they start up with more meetings early in the morning, our time, like it's 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So I'll have that stuff recorded for you as well. But that didn't look like happy Trump. That did not look like he was there to, glad hand and make nice. He looks like he's there to kick some butt. And I hope he does. SB, you got anything for me?
Yeah, I got two stories. Another one from Ali Bradley. This one, I haven't heard about this, but this one might raise an eyebrow at the very bottom. 12 minutes ago.
Oh, wait a minute. What the heck was this? Wait a second. I just saw something. Oh,
Eric, that's the other one, but
Eric Doherty is, he posted something about the bombs going off from over there.
Yeah.
That looked, boy, that was kind of bad. Ali Bradley.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd she say here?
All right, so I didn't have this one on my bingo card. Border Patrol is warning rideshare drivers. Cartel human smugglers are using legitimate ride-hailing apps to move illegal immigrants. And unsuspecting drivers could end up facing federal felony charges. The agency says smugglers often arrange third-party pickups in remote areas near the border using rideshare drivers as unwitting participants in their operations. I would think also that could also mean they could be like pew-pewed. I mean, yeah. So drivers are urged to watch for red flags, including third-party bookings where the account holder isn't present, passengers with heavily soiled clothing, groups exceeding vehicle capacity. Come on, Juan. Come on, let's go. Passengers who appear distressed or unsure of their location.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I don't need to read the rest. We got the gist of it. Wow. Huh?
So
creative.
These people can be kind of smart, in terms of this, how much where they would go to break the law. That's absolutely crazy. The things that they will think of. So they're dialing, and it's funny. One of the reasons I was laughing at that is because, as I said, my grandson is in town getting ready to train for football, and he's going to be here for 10 or 11 days. And instead of me having to drive him all over the place, I set him up with an Uber account so he can do that. And so it's funny, they said third-party Uber accounts, and then it says soiled clothes. I'm like, he's going to be rolling around in the field and everything, and sitting there sweating, So he's going to have two of the things there.
Donde está la mujeres?
It's like, wait a second. You got soiled clothes. You're looking kind of dirty and sweaty, and it's a third party booking. I don't know. I might have to call. I got to call Tom Homey. Okay. What was that other one? Unsure. There was a number of these. Okay, so third party.
Groups exceeding vehicle. Groups exceeding vehicle capacity. Oh, come on, 20 people. Let's go. We'll pack you in the trunk. And passengers who appear distressed or unsure of the location. That's kind of a giveaway, right?
So three of those, was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 3 of the 4 he will definitely click tomorrow. Like, I don't know where I am. Just take me here. Take me the address. Okay.
I'm glad to help your grandson there, Barry. That's awesome.
Hopefully you won't get pulled over by ICE people. But so the other one here is by clandestine. Okay.
Yeah. This is regarding the Tyler Robinson. Is it okay to bring that up, or did you have that as a story later or anything?
No. Okay. You said, do I have a story? I purposely stayed away from the entire pre-trial and everything. And the reason, because people have asked me, are you going to cover it? One, I'm not a lawyer. And so they're going through the different motions and they're talking about things, I can't really speak to, some of the things that they're doing. There's people out here who are lawyers who are covering it. Number two, I don't really think it, I think it is a open and shut case. I think we've seen the evidence that this guy did some things, and I don't want to ever get into the craziness that some of these people have had around. Out of respect for Erica. Just I heard somebody talk today, Alex Jones, excuse me, and they were doing it all over again.
Candace Owens.
And I'm like, leave this woman alone. My gosh.
Poor woman.
I mean, I can't imagine if Robin was someplace and she got her head basically blown off and they're like, ooh, Barry might have had something to do with this. You never know. She's got more patience. She has much more patience than I would ever have had. I'd have had to look up Candace Owens and a couple of these people and boot stomp them. And so out of respect for her, there's a lot of people who are interjecting their opinion on it. And I just don't want to go there. It's just not. But anyway, let's go with what you got here.
Well, it's our boy clandestine, so I always love what he has to say because he always has a good intellectual look at it. He writes, to be perfectly clear on my stance, the evidence clearly indicates that Tyler Robinson was the shooter, but I never said he 100% acted alone. Could there be co-conspirators? Absolutely. He was at the very least influenced by Antifa ideology based on the carved inscriptions on the bullet casings. And if there is evidence that there are direct co-conspirators, we can address it once that evidence is presented to us. But the bottom line is, based on the mountains of evidence we have, Robinson was the shooter. He and the vehicle registered to his name were on campus 4 times that day. He was not a UWU student. He had the disassembled rifle stuffed in his pant leg to sneak into position. Then he shot Charlie, admitted to the crime preemptively via letter to his transformer lover. I have to be careful. I got you. Hidden under the keyboard. And we have the text communications of him admitting he did it after the fact as well. And then he and his parents turned him in. That's where the facts stand. If you disagree, you were wrong. I love it.
That's exactly what I said. To me, it's a cut and dry case. He did it. Whether or not he was working with somebody else, I don't know if he was working with somebody else, but he may have informed people what he wanted to do, that type of conspiracy. But I just don't want to get into the conjecture because it had such a sour taste in my mouth when I watched it happen, and I knew he was dead right then. I mean, anyone who's ever fired a firearm and understood that wound, he was dead. But then people like, did you see the blood thing? And it looked like it was under his shirt. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with you people? What, if you want to really dig into conspiracy theories, Robin and I this past weekend went to go see a movie. The movie is called Disclosure Day, and it's about aliens. Go there, and then you won't have to watch all the crazies on TikTok and and YouTube talking about Erica Kirk had something to do with it. I will not disrespect her.
That's disgusting. Wow.
And here's the bottom line with it. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for you, and all it does is cause pain to that family. So that's where I am with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate, Barry. I have a story just came in from Benny Johnson. It's about Kash Patel. So apparently, he just had announced some major arrests. This has to do with crime against several countries. This is very interesting. See how we just spoke about the other story, and now this is coming out. So Kash Patel announced major arrests and transnational organized crime cases across several countries. Today, with our brilliant law enforcement partners across the country, as well in Canada, Europe, India, and Mexico, we arrested 24 subjects and charged 37 individuals connected to 3 India-based transnational organized crime groups with charges including racketeering, extortion, narcotics trafficking, and multiple target killings, including even the 2023 assassination in Canada of a prominent Indian political and religious figure. Trump's FBI arrests criminals, Biden's FBI prosecuted law-abiding Americans. For those folks saying Cash isn't doing anything.
And it's funny how, again, these things all weave together. Somebody,
no coincidence.
Somebody or some group of people are
chirping like a little bird.
They are chirping. I can't even imagine at this point, because every arrest brings you closer to someone else who wants to cut a deal. Hey, I got this for you. I can tell you about. And so I can't even imagine the mountain of evidence that they are compiling against people in government.
Omar Arham.
So
Somali pirates.
It could definitely get crazy at this point. And it's all coming to a head very quickly. That's the other interesting part about all of this, is that you can just see it building. You see over here, this group of people are falling apart. They don't seem to have any direction. They're just free falling. And Trump's just moving ahead, doing what he needs to do, spanking Iran when again, every time we hear about bombing in Iran, I keep looking for the punchline. And that punchline never gets said by anybody in the media. Did anybody die? Are we just bombing fields and empty buildings? There's something going on. I don't know what it is, but it's just very, very weird, because if they had the opportunity to show dead babies and puppies, they most assuredly would, and there's nothing. We never see any pictures. None whatsoever. So it just makes me, unless they just locked it down over there, but it's crazy, absolutely crazy.
This stuff takes time. I mean, we're only a year going into 2 years. I mean, a lot has happened. I mean, I gotta admit, the first 10 months, everybody's like, what's going on? There's nothing going on, nothing going on. There's a lot going on, as you can see with these stories that are coming up. And there's gonna be more. I guarantee it. All right. Well, that's all I have for the moment. I will talk to you soon, I guess.
All right. Thank you. All right. Hey, got a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. So just want you guys to know that. A quick question. How much control do you have over your money right now? Technology has changed everything, and now it's changing how money works. Crypto started as a niche, but now it's gone mainstream. Faster payments, more control, fewer middlemen. This isn't hype, it's just where things are going. Actually, we're already there. And getting started today is easier than you think. With Rumble Wallet, you can buy Bitcoin, you can hold dollar-backed stable coins all in one place. It's a non-custodial crypto wallet, which means you, not a bank, not a platform, control access to your funds. Setup is simple. You should easily be able to diversify your money. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your debit card, credit card, or bank account and be up and running in minutes. And for a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in US stable coin simply by downloading the Rumble Wallet and entering my exclusive promo code Barry10 when you sign up now. You can even use your Rumble Wallet to support your favorite Rumble creators, like me, directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description below, or just simply go to wallet.rumble.com/Barry and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, enter your promo code Barry10 to get your free $10 in US stablecoin. This is a limited time offer, so act now. Take control of your money. Get started with Rumble Wallet today. And terms and conditions apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. Thank you to the people at Rumble. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
New accusations against top officials in a sanctuary state, Minnesota, over protecting an illegal immigrant convicted of repeatedly sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl. It's a hard story to talk about and to read about, but it happened and we need to tell you. Homeland Security accusing Governor Tim Walz of granting a pardon, effectively just wiping away his criminal record to help shield the man from a final order of deportation.
So think about this. Think about the sickness of what Tim Walz did. If you haven't heard this story, these are 10 stories that you might have heard, maybe you didn't hear. Think about the insanity here. This guy has been abusing kids, doing unthinkable things to children, and he happens to be an illegal. And so now that he's been caught doing bad things, it's time to take him out of the country. But no, it's more important for the Democrats that the illegals get to stay rather than having them get out the country, even for something as so heinous as child abuse. Let that sink in. He completely pardoned this guy because he didn't want to see him deported.
Taylor is on that. She joins us now for more. And Brooke, what did you find out? Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Well, Governor Tim Walz facing a major backlash for this. So he sits on the board that pardoned this convicted child sex offender as he was just about to be deported. So back in 2006, Tao Lee Vang right here, he was convicted of repeatedly sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl in Minnesota.
10-year-old little girl. Stole her innocence. Did all kinds of bad things to her. Finally, 20 years later, which means it's time for, this guy to get the heck out of here. In fact, I wish they didn't. They should have just taken him out back and put 2 in the back of his head. But Tim Walz pardoned the guy. Think about that. He just wiped his conviction away. And by doing so, he's now no longer a convict. And so he gets to stay, which I didn't even know that could happen. I thought if you weren't supposed to be here, you weren't supposed to be here. But somehow they have finagled it that this guy who diddled kids, 10 years old, he gets to stay.
He pleaded guilty in a deal that kept him out of prison. DHS says that conviction cost him his legal status and made him deportable. Well, the details in these court documents, they're too graphic for me to repeat to you on air, but it describes the...
So if it's too graphic for her to even talk about on Fox, which means it was way too graphic for me to talk about on YouTube, just so you understand it, it's so bad, Fox News can't repeat the things he did to this 10-year-old girl. And understanding that Tim Walz read all the things that this guy did to this 10-year-old little girl. But we don't want him to get deported. Man, who are you beholden to? Who is it that you're answering to that you will not allow this child assaulter to be booted out of the country? It's more important for this guy to stay here.
Abuse spanning 2 years from the time the victim was 10 to just 12 years old. The girl told investigators she met Ving through her older sister, who he later married. Investigators say he admitted, quote, "I made a mistake, but this is a minor thing. It's a cultural thing in Thailand to marry and have sex with girls as young as 12.
I know right now some of you are feeling all kinds of icky, and the rest of you are probably saying, just let him out. Please let him out. We'll take care of it. We'll make sure that, young Mr. aggravated, crazy diddler of little kids shall meet his doom very soon. Now that everybody in the country knows this guy gets to walk scot-free out of jail and doesn't have to be deported. And then he's giving excuses. Hey, it's how we do things. See, that's the reason why they do have to go. You're not assimilating. He just admitted, hey, that's not legal here. I didn't know I couldn't do that. We always do it back home. We're always diddling little girls and boys. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was against the law here. They're not assimilating. They're not here to change their ways. They're here to keep doing what they've been doing. Oh, she looked like she wanted it. Oh, really? So we got to pardon him because, their culture, it's okay. It's okay to, if you see a woman walking down the street in a tight shirt and a short skirt, I can do what I want. I can do whatever I want. That's how we do it back in the old country.
He also told police that the young victim should be arrested too because she was, quote, as much at fault.
She was 10. She was 10. And she's got as much fault to do as I have for doing it. She looked at me with her completely promiscuous eyes. She let me know at 10 years old that, yeah, Big Daddy, I got to have some of that. Anybody buying this? Tim Waltz did. Hey, man, the girl looked at him. It's her fault.
Now, according to DHS, he received a deportation order after his conviction, but earlier this month, Minnesota's Board of Pardons voted to pardon him. Federal officials say this wipes away his conviction that made him removable and now could help him fight deportation. So the 3-member board includes Governor Tim Waltz, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Chief Justice Nat.
Wow. We've been talking a lot about Graham Plattner over the last couple of days, and so it's all over the Democrat Party. It's all over their party. They keep calling us, Speedo protectors. And I'm like, we're not the one pardoning people who are diddling 10-year-old girls and then saying it was their fault, and I didn't know it was wrong. Where I come from, it's fair game. Plus, she looked at me kind of like, she was giving me the eye. Seriously? And they bought this crap?
Natalie Hudson. DHS blasted the decision, saying in part, Governor Tim Waltz's decision to pardon an illegal alien, convicted child rapist so he can remain in our country is disgusting. This pardon will take away the child rapist's qualifying convictions that made him removable from the United States. Now, we reached out to all 3 board members, including Governor Waltz, to ask why they decided to pardon this convicted child sex offender. We have not heard back, Bill.
Okay, so, hey, Governor Waltz, can you tell me why you let the kid diddler out? Oh, no, not going to even no response. These people feel they are God. They don't have to answer to anybody. What the heck is wrong in Minnesota? What in the hell is going on in one of our great states? How did it get to the point where the Attorney General and the governor could look at stuff that people can't say on television and go, yeah, he's okay, let him stay. One thing anybody in that kind of business will tell you, you guys who saw the movie Sound of Freedom, is that they don't change. This guy's out somewhere in Minnesota, and you can bet your ass he's Googling and eyeing some little girl somewhere. You don't have that proclivity and then all of a sudden not have it anymore. Especially when you say it's not my fault, it's her fault, and she looked at me funny. No culpability. No attrition. Hey, I did it. I'm sorry. I'm no longer like that. I will never do it again. That's not what he said. He said, yeah, I did it. It was a mistake. And the only mistake was I got caught because this is what we do back home. And she liked it. Man, I don't know if the comet is coming soon, but if the comet isn't coming soon, I can pretty much tell you there's going to be some vigilante justice warming up in the bullpen. People are not going to take this too much longer. Nobody wants this. I can't believe you'd be on either side of the aisle, Democrat or Republican, and go, this is okay. It's disgusting, and it needs to be dealt with.
Number 9.
I mean, listen, Mamdani's claim that a socialist could win anywhere at any position, sources say?
I'm a New Yorker. I say this from a place of love. New York is not the center of the universe.
All right, so this is where Democrats are now starting to try and distance themselves from Zorhan the Great. But they weren't saying this back in October. Now they're all saying, because they see what he's doing, hey, this, it can't happen in other places. We won't let it happen in other places. Oh, it's getting ready to happen in Maine. Oh, we got that. We're gonna make this guy leave, quit. I think the Democrats, some of them, got completely embarrassed. They cannot even fathom what they allowed to happen in one of our greatest cities. And now they're sitting back and going, we're never going to win like this. This is not going to get us what we need to get to. So at this point, we need to start backpedaling off of Mamdani.
Amen.
Thank you. I appreciate the mayor's confidence. But one thing, people across the country are feeling pain. And so the one thing I think we have to look at is Democratic leaders are actually worried about this, even though, look, we may see it in blue places here and there, but here's why they're worried. A primary is not a general, and to win in contested or close places, that requires independents, swing voters. They're not going to win.
So this woman is a Democrat strategist. So what she just described, and you just heard, she described Maine. Like, you can win in this little borough here, and you can pick off and have Chevalier win with 30,000 votes, but you're not going to win a bigger election because now you're going to have to convince everybody in that location that your BS works. And this was probably a few days ago, I think last week. And so I saw her on CNN as she's making these statements, and the other ones are jovial and laughing. Oh no, he's fantastic. He's great. I'm like, no, man, this is problematic. I'm not down with this communist stuff. I don't know who's paying the rest of you up here, but I'm not down with this. And as a strategist, my own credibility, I got to make sure you know this is not going to be a winning strategy moving forward. I think when I saw this, I think they began plotting to get Plattner out the race back then. They realized, whoa, we got a big mistake going on here. We need to get him out.
These are primaries.
Yeah, but I think you raise a very smart point. I mean, New York City, as much as it is, the largest city in America, it is not America writ large in terms of how Democratic voters are voting across the country. I mean, the same state that elected 3 Democratic socialists last week also elected Kate Conley, who is a national security rock star in the Democratic Party in the Hudson Valley. So I mean, we're seeing it in New York. We are not seeing it everywhere, much to, I know, Hogan's chagrin, because Republicans would love to say that we are now the party of DSA. We just saw Carolyn.
You are. But that's just it. You are. As much as the Democrat strategists want to go on television and go, no, we're not really like that. Well, you're being overruled by some of these people. And by the way, forget Democrat socialists. These are straight up commies. They tell you what they want. They want the overthrow of the American government. And that is your party. So you can try to reduce it, but we're not blind. We can see all of the different senators and congresspeople saying they're for socialism until they're not for socialism, because the guy that you picked is out there, doing a horizontal bop coming through people's windows and sending out weenie pics. You have a completely mind deviant group of people you're trying to put in offices. And people are starting to see it. This guy's awful. He's not going to be the last one. How do I know that? Because we know now. We know Eric Swalwell. We know Ruben Gallego. It just keeps happening. You guys keep picking scumbags and expected people to look the other way because Trump or something.
Love it saying that, but that is not who we are writ large. And look, I think also voters are frustrated. They're frustrated with incumbents. They're frustrated with establishment candidates, which is why you are seeing a little bit of a protest vote here. But at the end of the day, we're a big tent party. This is an isolated place in more urban areas versus suburban.
Let's watch another. So Adrian, of course,
isolated place. This isolated place has 8 million people. This isolated place, you allowed them to bring in, who knows, millions of unvetted people. This isolated place is now a hotbed for communism that you guys placed there. So if you're going to fix it, you're the ones who are going to have to fix it. You're going to have to get in and basically stop funding these people and destroy their infrastructure. Until you do that, until you have the cojones to get in there and say, we are not going to allow communism to permeate our party, you're done. You're absolutely done. Nobody wants this crap. Well, I can't say nobody because we know how that goes. There's enough of them right now that are just like leeches. They're teeming right now, trying to get a hold of people, mostly kids.
Democrat, right? Like a former president we know. Here's a man who works for said former Arkansas president, talking about whether or not the Democratic tent is big enough for some of these Democratic Socialist candidates. James Carville.
I actually do think it's time for Democrats to talk the S word, schism.
As crazy as a loon as this guy is, and as much as I've shown his 3 or 4 videos where he's been basically destroying these commies, I have to sit back now. I'm like, he's the crazy guy is the one you need to be listening to. I mean, I like the fact that you're ignoring him. I hope you continue to ignore him. I think you should bring as many commies into your party as possible. Invite the Trojan horses into the Democrat Party. Do it, please, continue. But then this guy's off to the side, drinking his bourbon and hanging out in Louisiana, New Orleans, and he's letting them know, this ain't gonna work. This is not going to make it.
I really do. Everybody's always said, no, we're a coalition, we're a big tent. And there's just some shit that I can't be in the same tent with.
I mean, Hogan.
Is he wrong? I mean, I probably disagree with 99.9% of the things that comes out of James Carville's mouth. But he's absolutely right. I don't want you in my tent. My big tent, I know, because I think the Republicans should have a big tent. But there's an admission cost. One of those things is, hey, you down with America? Yeah, okay, you can come in. You hate America? Step. Don't need you, don't want you. There's got to be a line where Democrats show some, like I said, cojones and realize we're still America. That's the price of admission. Do you love America? Not, we always think there's something that could change, but do you love America? That should be the entry. Yes, I love America. I think it's the best country in the world. All right, now we got some talk. Come on in. You can come into this tent. But if you walk up to the tent and you say America sucks and America did this and I need reparations, over there, just get out.
Gidley, would your biggest fear be that they follow James Carville's advice on this?
Yes, they don't call him Ragin for nothing. James is right, and Adrian also. Calling out that side, though, I think has been something the Democrats have refused to do writ large, waiting to see maybe how much popularity they can gain, if they can win in other places. They're kind of waiting to see because they know a lot of the fire, a lot of the excitement, a lot of the money is.
You see, I understand what he's saying, but that's like going to the doctor. And you go to the doctor and they take an X-ray or an MRI and they go, hey, look like you have a tumor. And you're like, I'm okay. Let me see. And it keeps growing. Hey, you want to do something about this tumor? No, we're good. We're going to keep going. And all of a sudden you can't see or you're falling down and you realize that tumor has taken over your brain. That's the problem with the Democrats right now. They did what he said. Let's sit back and see what happens. Let's see them running around the street acting crazy. Let's see them having these communist meetings. Let's see them take to the streets. Too late. Too late. You didn't read your own MRI. Now you're in big trouble.
Flowing to that side of the political party, one which is completely antithetical to the values of this country. Candidates who openly say they want violence in America, they want to undermine and eradicate America, that will not.
Every candidate who is a DSA candidate has said that.
Chevalier said that?
Yes, they have. She didn't like to hear that, but yes, they have. I've seen the videos. The woman said she wiped her butt on a flag. The other one said America sucks and we need to do this and do that and everything else. These people do not want a civilized front. They want to destroy America, and there's no amount of euphemism or deflection that any Democrat strategist can give.
And Mayor Mamdani didn't say that was wrong at all. Then Al Sayed in Michigan won't condemn Hassan Piker for saying 9/11 is our fault, and no one calls them out for it. That schism he's talking about, thank God, for the first time I can say this in my life, James Carville is saying it. Some other people with high profiles need to do that.
Well, yes, right now many of you are like, I cannot believe I actually agree with James Carville. As this raging Cajun nut job, he's dead on. The tent is not that big. We do not want you in the tent. You hate America? Go away.
Number 8.
Well, let's talk about messaging, Donnie, because even though voters are unhappy with Trump, they're still leaning Republican. Do you think if the economy doesn't improve by November, it can change? Do Democrats need to figure out their messaging when it comes to the economy? Because for whatever reason, Republicans still seem to have this stronghold that we're good for business.
Well, Okay. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the Republicans have the stranglehold that we're good for business? Maybe because every candidate that you run says they want to destroy business. Maybe because every candidate that you run wants to, what do they say? Seize the means of production. I don't know. I'm pretty sure most business people are like, I don't want none of that. Maybe small clues, little clues like that. Tax the rich. I mean, think about it. I can't understand why the Republicans seem to have a stranglehold on business people. Anybody know? Are you not listening to these nut jobs? Every time you have a rally and they're like, tax the rich, kill Elon, do all these different things, take over their companies, take over their properties, let the tenants run it. And you're wondering why Republicans somehow still have a stranglehold on business. Wait till they come for you. Wait till they say we should seize, the cameras at NBC or MS, whatever they're called now. How can she not know why people understand that you people are not good for business? Anybody who owns a business can listen to AOC or Bernie talk for just this long, and we know why you're not good for business.
Democrats are going off the rails. They're not even focused. What matters to people is affordability. And Democrats right now are focused on two things. They're focused on anti-Semitism and socialism. That's
not all Democrats.
Not all, but that's where the energy in the party is. When you look at the two candidates that got elected in the last week, one of them talks about that there was not that firebombing in Colorado was not anti-Semitic. I mean, would not acknowledge that when it was a firebombing of people holding a vigil for hostages in Hamas, by Hamas. Another candidate in New York was been well documented, was at a October 8th rally, a pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian rally. This is ridiculous, and they're both running on anti-American, not...
On the 4th of July, I'm not sure which one it was, Valdez or Chevalier, one of them said, our objective is to free Palestine on July 4th. People are like, huh? What the hell does our independence have to do with Palestine? They are such a narrow group of people, but yet the Democrats sat on their hands and acquiesced to these people. And the people like Donnie Deutsch and Carville and others who are beginning to call them out, they're still being stifled and told to shut up. People don't want them speaking out. They have succumbed and bowed their heads to the socialists.
Socialistic, let's let's abolish ICE, let's abolish prisons, let's abolish everything. Let's abolish the police. It's insane. And the Republicans are going to tar them with this. This is the problem. Even though they are a small sector of the party, this is right now, every Republican strategist is salivating on what these people have said in the past, and they're going to wallpaper it with it. And the Democrats are going down a bad path. They're electing these.
He's so right. As I mentioned before, Donnie Deutsch is a former owner, chairman of Deutsch Advertising. And he was very good with messaging. And when he says that Republicans are going to tar the Democrats, you don't have to. These people make no bones about it. They will go on television and talk about the warmth of collectivity and how we need to destroy business. They keep going on television. I could run a campaign at this point. You could run a campaign. Give me a clip of Mandami saying all this stuff on 4th of July. Oh, yeah. That's crazy stuff. Let's just keep playing that. Oh, this woman here says she wipes her butt with the flag. Yep, let me just put all that stuff out there. Every single bit of it. And let me hear you people who are Democrats and all the videos and tweets that you have get out there showing you support this craziness. I don't know if you guys know tonight, but Chris Murphy, I think it's Senator of Connecticut, he scrubbed his entire X profile to eliminate any post having to do with Graham Plattner. Too late. That's the ultimate Streisand effect. The fact that you had them, then you deleted them. Did you think people wouldn't notice? Do you not realize that people are watching every single thing, every single one of you posts? And they're just waiting to pounce and show everybody, yep, he deleted all his stuff. He thinks it was that easy to distance himself.
Democratic Socialists. It's a disaster, no matter what you think of it, wherever your politics are. It's bad strategy.
Number 7.
Obviously, you're correct that the T in TPS stands for temporary.
When I heard this, I'm thinking, hey, come on, Jake. Did you really have to explain to your audience that the T in TPS stands for temporary? Wow. Tells me the intelligent level of your audience.
The Trump administration's argument,
that's right,
is that this was only supposed to last 18 months. My understanding of how the process works is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security has the discretion to extend it if the U.S. State Department says that the countries that these people are from are still considered unsafe, which is why they were afforded TPS status to begin with. Is it the position of the Trump administration that Haiti is a safe country to send these people to?
All right, so two things he said there. A, the director of Homeland Security, which is him, can at his discretion say, you got to get out. Okay, he has said, it's my discretion, get out. The other part he's talking about, Marco Rubio, is it a safe country? That's not the basis for people getting temporary protected, status. It's not about safety. It's supposedly about a number of different criteria involving your government. Meaning, can you go back home and do what you're doing? Well, you can't, no. Economically, you won't. But could you go back home? Are people chasing you with spears? No, not that we know of.
Well, we take a lot of things in consideration. Secretary Rubio, the president, and I have had multiple conversations about this. Obviously, the qualification isn't quite just that simple. And keep in mind, a lot of these individuals haven't been here 18 months. They've been here 18 years. Some of them been here 20 years, 30 years. They've had plenty of time to reestablish.
Whenever I do cuts and Jake Tapper's in the cut, anybody ever notice that the look on his face looks like it hurts him that he's being talked to, like he's sitting on a pine cone? I mean, he just doesn't look comfortable at all hearing people tell him, hey, 18 years, not 18 months. These people have been here forever. They never went home. That's a complete difference from temporary.
Their status inside the United States. They just chose not to. Then there's some that has been here underneath the Biden administration that took advantage of an open border. And those individuals didn't really come over here because they needed protective status. They came over here because they were taking advantage of a weak leadership. So what we want, and the president has made this very clear, those that are coming to this country legally, they need to be able to contribute to the United States, not be a burden on the taxpayers. And so we are continuing looking at our temporary protective status. Those individuals that do need assistance because of the country they're in, we're always looking at them. There isn't a more generous country in the world than the United States. But
that is so true. When I run into liberals and they say you're stingy or this or that, I'm like, no, not at all. I love charity. I love, quote, helping people. See, where it gets different is when you turn into a crutch. When, I didn't adopt you and you want to stay here forever and you're getting food stamps forever and everything else and free Medicare and Medicaid, all these different things that you were supposed to get help, and it turned into a complete entitlement enablement type thing. That's where people have a problem. That's at some point, especially if you've been here 15 or 18 years, you're telling me you never had the ability or the ambition, initiative to get your shit together. So now you got to go. You had plenty of time.
Don't want people to take advantage of it.
Right. But do you maintain that it is safe in Haiti to send these people back?
Well, I think, like I said, Jake, this is a decision that's being made from the State Department, from myself and the president. And there's a lot of things that we look at when we take this in consideration. It's not just one factor that plays into this.
I don't know, Jake. Do you consider Chicago safe? Should we send them all to Chicago? Because you're saying Haiti's not safe. They shouldn't have to go. What about the people in Chicago? What about the people in Baltimore? What about the people in any of these inner cities? What about these crazy teen takeovers? You're worried about Haiti. Are you not worried about Chicago?
I ask this because I heard Stephen Miller, who's driving a lot of this, say that Haiti is safe for Haitians. And I just looked at the State Department's website, and they have a level 4 do not travel advisory for Haiti just from a few months ago, from April, and it says, quote, violent crime is rampant. The expansion of gang, organized crime, and terrorist activity has led to widespread violence. Crimes involving firearms are common.
So Jake's going to read the website right now. But Jake, that's for Americans. Anytime Robin's planning on doing a vacation or something, she looks at the State Department stuff as well. It's for Americans. hey, maybe we shouldn't go here. We shouldn't go there. America, for us, it would not be safe, especially if we're going to wear a red MAGA hat. No, that's really not safe.
Include robbery, carjacking, sexual assault, and kidnappings for ransom. That doesn't sound safe to me.
Well, that do not travel is not for Haitians. That's do not travel for the United States because
I knew that was coming, even if I didn't know it was coming. Jake, checkmate. You're a moron. It's for us. You just spent your time reading off a website that's for Americans. Why are we targets? Because we got money. They like that. Oh, there's some soft targets. These Americans are coming here. And these Americans have credit cards and jewelry and electronics. That's who they're talking about. They're not talking about, you're down the street Haitian.
they are kidnapping or trying to kidnap individuals from the United States because they feel like their family has the money to pay the ransom. We have do not travel in places in Mexico or advisory warnings. In fact, if you go through our website in the State Department, you'll see there's advisories to a lot of places that are vacation destinations that we have advisories on because of the real risk to Americans. That doesn't mean it's a risk to the individuals that live there. So that isn't that advisory is to American citizens traveling to Haiti, not Haitians going back home.
I understand that, but
I guess you don't. You wouldn't have asked the stupid question if you understand that. If you truly understood, then you would have not read that entire dissertation and realized, hey, it doesn't sound safe to me. It's not for them. That's for us. Oh, I understand it. No, you actually don't.
based on everything I've read, including the UN and Human Rights Watch, it doesn't sound safe for Haitians. More than 8,100 killings documented last year. Those weren't Americans. Haiti is among the top 5 countries with the highest rates of rape and sexual abuse, with more than 1,200 cases of sexual violence last year. That's not Americans. 1.4 million people have been displaced. Those aren't Americans.
I don't know if he didn't hear him or what, but it was almost like, what's your point? That uncomfortable silence to me was like, what's your point? They're going back.
Is there a question in that?
Well, I'm just saying,
sorry.
Let me ask you.
Number 6.
Oh, what's your point, bro?
Governor, you just heard Secretary Mullen defend the decision. You say it's a mistake. What's your take?
Well, I think it's a mistake for a number of reasons. First of all, to go back to what you were just discussing, you cannot.
This is the governor, Ohio, Mike DeWine. Why do you need Democrats when you have Republicans like this? Why do we even fight with Democrats until we get the rest of these rhinos out of our own party?
Fly into Port-au-Prince today. U.S. carriers are prohibited from going in there. They've extended that ban. Federal officials, the United States have extended that ban into September now, and it's been there for a long time. The reason they can't go in there is because these gang leaders who control a good part of Haiti today shoot at the planes when they come in.
Does it look like either one of these guys has actually ever stepped foot in Haiti? I don't know, but I would venture to say that neither of these limp-wristed fools have ever stepped foot in Haiti. Of course, they're afraid. What would I do?
So that's certainly one thing. You've pointed out, advisories, heavy advisories. U.S. citizens do not go into Haiti. It's a very, very dangerous place. Just this last week, several more school children were killed just because gangs were shooting back and forth. The gangs control a significant part of Haiti. So it is clearly not safe. Anybody who has followed Haiti over a long, extended period of time knows that it's worse than it has, frankly, ever been, and certainly in recent memory. But the other point is it is not in the United States' interest, certainly not in Ohio's interest, to have people who are working every single day, who are supporting a family, who are buying houses, fixing up.
Hold on a second there. You just tipped on something. People who are working every single day, supporting families who are buying houses. His words. You mean people who are taking jobs away from their families and keeping them from buying houses. When you heard, I'm going to talk to you guys tomorrow about the what's going on in housing, and they find out that 30% is what the tariff has been per se on housing because of people who aren't supposed to be here, and he comes on and admits it. Yep, they're working every single day, they're taking care of their family, and they're buying houses. How? Why are we allowing people who aren't here to buy houses? And please, Mr. DeWine, send me the addresses because there's about to be a crap load of vacancies.
Old houses, starting businesses, and then put deep roots in this country and really are contributing and yank them out. I mean, look at what the mayor of Springfield says. Mayor says that is a huge, huge mistake. They're contributing. Rob Rue says they're contributing greatly. Mistake to do that. I would cite also the two Ohio congressmen who have probably the most Haitians, the Republicans who have the most Haitians in their district, voted in favor of the extension of TPS. So what I would hope that the Trump administration would do is reconsider this. Look at how it's going to impact states like Ohio. In Ohio, the Haitians are working primarily in manufacturing. They're also working in the food area. But if
you realize what this guy is saying? I understand that you got a crap load of cheap labor. Now, all of a sudden, they're in manufacturing, they're in factories, they're in restaurants, they're in hospital care. And the counter argument to all of that is, why aren't Americans afforded those job opportunities? Why did you give them away to people who aren't supposed to be here? What would be our unemployment rate? How much will we have to pay in SNAP benefits to people who should be doing the jobs you just said the Haitians are doing? Why did you do this to the American people? Why did you allow them to buy houses and open businesses and everything else when it should be going to American people? Why are you sticking up for them? And I'm not saying anything untoward about the Haitians. I'm not talking down. I'm talking up Americans. Every single thing that you guys are saying about the Haitians, just change the word. Change it to an American. An American is opening a business. An American is working in the factory or at the restaurant or at the hospital and buying a house. They've gotten too comfortable with cheap stuff, cheap labor. People were beholden to them because they don't want to get kicked out of the country. Can you imagine how much money some of these people have made dealing with all this off the books kind of cheap labor? He just mentioned it. It's in the manufacturing. It's in retail. It's in your medical care. It's in your housing. So what you said is you've sold out your economy for people who aren't supposed to be in the country. Luckily for you, there's a good fix for this. And that fix is let the Americans do it.
look at where they're working across the country. Probably the most important area they're working is in healthcare. It's Haitians who many times are taking care of your mom or your dad who has Alzheimer's, taking care of family members who might be in a nursing home. And just
I can't believe I heard this. When he was talking here, I could not believe he was saying this. And I'm like, you're filming a commercial for Haitian workers. You're saying that Haitian workers are better than American workers. They're the ones taking care of your family. They're the ones cooking your food. Because he's gotten so comfortable with that fact. And it didn't even dawn on him that he's hailing the Haitians without ever saying, you know what, I understand, but we're going to hire more Americans. We're going to bring more Americans into the hospitals and the restaurants and the manufacturing. It is so foreign to some of these people because they got used to it.
we're going to pull all of those out. It's just not in our own self-interest.
If we're going to pull all these people out, like he said, and it's not in our own self-interest, are you telling me there's not Ohioans that can take these jobs? You have not recruited enough people into your state that they can be the workforce that you need to sustain your people. I can't believe that. I won't believe that. I will not believe that there are not Americans that will do these jobs.
5.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out their inconsistencies, Larry. A lot of them are, they attack capitalism, but they love George Soros, or they love people who donate. Mark Zuckerberg gave $419 million to them in 2020. And Mondami's parents are very wealthy. He attacks settler colonialists, he calls us, as he does Israel. But of course, he was part of the 1% of the Indian community that settled in Uganda and controlled 60% of the wealth.
You cannot be a Democrat, socialist, Commiecrat. You cannot be that without a strong degree of hypocrisy. Most of these people are young, come from wealthy families, or have been given an exorbitant amount of money from people like Reid Hoffman, George Soros, Alex Soros, and so on. You cannot have one set of billionaires that's great and the other set of billionaires, we want to eat them. They never talk about Soros is like a bad word. You can't even mention it. And the media never says it. Hey, AOC, I understand you want to tax the rich, yeah. And you want to take all this and make them pay their fair share. Oh, yes, I said that. Well, do you feel the same about Soros? Huh? Reid Hoffman? Huh? They never talk about them. Elon is their cash cow. Bernie never talks about these other billionaires. It's only Elon. Elizabeth Warren, Elon. And their stupid spoon-fed audiences never think there's other billionaires that are, greasing the wheels for the Democrats.
The problem with that, but I think we really need to point out that this is a very small cadre. They tend to be exclusively urban. They tend to be in blue states. They tend, about 50 to 60% of these new socialists are immigrants, either first or second generation. They don't know much about the so-called deplorables or irredeemables, or what the left calls the clingers, the great middle classes in the red states.
You know what else they don't know much about? Don't know much about history, because they weren't here. When you look at the ages of some of these people who are winning for the Democrats, and they keep calling us names, and Israel needs to go away, and AIPAC, they keep saying that, and they don't remember 2001, 9/11. Nope, they were young kids. Think about it. One of them's like 28 or 29. That means she was 25. She was 4 or 5 years old. She doesn't know what happened. And then the older ones like Ilhan Omar, what do they say? Oh, some people did something. Don't know much about history. Don't know it at all.
They have a disturbing bent to be anti-Semitism, to be racially obsessed, tribal. All of these characteristics I don't think will appeal to most people. And so far they haven't really had we'll see what happens with a statewide election when we have these Senate races in Michigan and Maine and Texas, but I'm not confident.
That's so on point right there. Bingo. We'll see what happens when we have these races up in Maine and Michigan. And right now, you're seeing it. They're yanking him. They're going to the bullpen. We got to have somebody else. Breaking all kinds of rules. Ignoring people's votes. That is just sinister.
That they're going to be successful. And so I'm not sure it's a national movement. It's a very small slice. A lot of them are highly educated in the social sciences, and they got out of university. They met a lot of wealthy, successful people, but either their majors were not competitive or they were not happy, but they're very bitter and disappointed that they feel they were entitled to more compensations. They're glib, they're articulate, but they're not very well educated in history or literature, but they have this sense of entitlement. And then they end up as a barista, as AOC, and they get angry, and that the society hasn't rewarded them, they think, for their extraordinary talents, which I don't think are so extraordinary.
Extraordinary talents. What did you study? Organizing? Organizing what? You make closets and garage things or something? No, I have meetings with people and we protest. Well, other than these billionaires that are throwing you money to do stuff, that's not a good career choice. There's nothing ahead for you. I'm an organizer. Excuse me. Yeah, okay.
But they have a high opinion of themselves and what they're worth, and that's why they're so bitter in many cases.
Number 4.
He's absolutely right there, because one of the things you hear all the time is, I want a house. Well, here's a house. Here's a starter home. No, I want a house on the beach. You can't afford it. Doesn't mean the people who can are bad. It just means you're not there yet. And you may never be there. You may never attain the ability to buy a $10 million house on the water. But it doesn't mean that the people who do live there are bad and evil because you can't have it. I'm going to go look at a duplex this weekend, taking my grandson with me. And it's so funny because in that neighborhood, I remember buying houses back in that neighborhood 15 years ago, and I was paying 80, 90, maybe 120 for a duplex. I'm like, this is pretty good. And now we're looking at buying this duplex, and this duplex is basically about 450. And the people who are going to be moving or live there actually are paying, I think it was like $2,100 a month in rent. And we got to do the numbers, make sure it cash flows correctly. They don't like that. They don't want people to be able to buy property and profit from it. The people living there should be given, housing as a constitutional right. Not understanding that somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to put it together. They don't want to hear that.
Hi, I'm Summer, and I am one of the few members of Congress who actually has student loan debt. And I mean first generation, working class, law school graduate student loan debt. But I'll join millions of Americans who are going to be deeply impacted by Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. College costs more than it ever has before, and these student repayment options are worse.
So why aren't you going to the colleges? Why are you not going to the colleges and saying you're charging too much? If you own a car dealership and all of a sudden you want to buy a car, you're like, that's too expensive. If you go into a retail store and they want $600 for some Jimmy Choo shoes, that's too expensive. But for some reason, you want to be able to go to a college and spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year or more, and then tell us we got to pay for your college. How the hell does that make any sense?
Than they've ever been before. But for millions of America, college was supposed to be not our escape, but it was supposed to be our entryway into opportunity, not just for ourselves, but for our entire families and our communities. It's supposed to help to end cycles of poverty. And
yeah, that's where you went wrong. See, the college can't do that for you because they're overpopulated. They're graduating people who can't put sentences together. That's not what college is anymore. You'd have been much better. Well, not her, because believe it or not, this is a congresswoman. This is a congresswoman you're listening to. And she's complaining because I guess $175,000 a year isn't paying off her college debt.
Equality, but with Trump's new plans, it's just going to push people further and further away from that very opportunity. So Trump's plan does a couple of things, right? One, obviously, it eliminates the SAVE Act or the SAVE plan and also some of our income-based returns. So for so many people, you may find that within the next 90 days, your payments are going to be much higher than you've ever anticipated. For some-
Whose fault is that? It's not Trump's fault. Biden and them reconstructed these loans so kids wouldn't have to pay, but the meter keeps running. Every single one of you who owns a home or has a car note, you realized there was nobody at the car dealership with a gun to your head. You wanted XYZ car. You thought it would be pretty cool, good transportation, reliable. And you said, okay, in order for me to buy this car or SUV or this truck, I'm going to need a loan. And the guy across the table said, we can get you a loan. We can get you financed. Here's what your payments are going to be. You decide to go, yeah, I'll take it. You sign your name. You say, I will pay $400 a month. You go to college. Hey, you want to come here? It's going to cost 50 grand a year. Whew, that's really high. I can get you a loan. Okay. You sign the loan. By the way, when you're signing, you're agreeing to pay back. It's not, I'll pay it as long as I can until I can't pay it anymore. Then, sorry, pound sand. But even if that was true, why don't you go back to the college? Why don't you go say, listen, I took 4 years here. I spent $200,000, and the only thing I'm qualified is for a barista. I think we need to negotiate this. Nope, never. They never go back to the college.
As much as $2,000 like me, which is more than people's mortgage or their rent. But what it also does is it underfunds programs like Pell, like the Pell Grant that first generation college students like me relied on. It'll also.
Again, she's a member of Congress. She makes $175,000 a year at least, and she's bitching.
Put lifetime limits on borrowing. So not just on the student, but also on their parents. So if you're a student who wants to get an advanced degree like nursing or being a doctor or a lawyer, you may find that you can't get a college education or advanced degree at all. All of America will pay for Donald Trump's anti-working class policies.
I'm not. I'm not paying for your policies. I'm not paying for your student loan. That's just it. It's your student loan. I got 3 grandkids, and we got to make sure that they can do what they need to do, and wherever they want to go, we shall take care of it. But I shouldn't have to do that for the kid down the block whose own parent should be deciding where they're going to go. But the bottom line, I'll go right back to it, is it's your choice. I understand you want to chase opportunity, but when you make those arrangements with the financial aid officer at that college, you're making that relationship. You are telling them, I am willing to pay you back when I graduate 4 years from now. And they're like, okay, so we're going to give you this loan for like 50 grand. Then you got to pay it.
In the midst of an affordability crisis, where we see Americans struggling with rising costs all around them, from housing to healthcare to childcare to our utility bills. This is just another thing on top of another thing on top of another thing that makes it so much harder for us to be prosperous in the wealthiest nation on earth. And it sends a signal that the only.
She makes $175,000 a year. I just want you to remember that as she's talking. It makes it so hard. Really that hard? 175 grand a year to walk around the halls of Congress? You're not on the roof. You're not digging a ditch. You're walking around the halls of Congress. You make 175 grand a year and you're single and you're telling me you can't make it. Sounds like you got a personal problem.
People who Trump cares about or that Republicans care about are their wealthy donors and their own families. They're not making it easier for working people like you and me, and they never intended to. It's not.
Oh, okay. So now I've asked many times, how do you define the working class? She just did. Working people like me. So somebody making $175,000 is still part of the working class. Got it. If you're making 175 grand a year as a single person, and you can't make it, and you can't put together your budget and understand what you need to pay and how you need to pay it, there's something really wrong. It ain't Trump. It definitely isn't Trump. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't paint an entire generation with this. But the people who think like this, that it's your fault or my fault, that they can't get ahead, when as she's talking, she's telling you the reasons why she can't get ahead. Like I had posted the other day, I'm like, watched the game last night where we got our butts beat, and there was probably 60 or 70,000 people in the stands. And they're going to see that from here on out, even though we won't be playing. And then you're going to see it in football, and you'll see it in baseball. And the other day, somebody tweeted to me, and like, Barry, we're all struggling. No, that's just it. It's not all. Yes, are there people struggling? Absolutely. But they try to make it seem like it's just some sort of endemic situation, that it's completely viral. Nobody can afford anything, which is complete bullshit. Yes, there are people who are hurting. Yes, we should help people who can't do things for a short period of time. But the story and narrative they're trying to weave is that everybody is broken. Nobody can afford anything, which is complete hogwash. And so when you're watching these people on television or they're talking and they're like, nobody can afford anything, you're lying. There are a segment of society that is having problems. Maybe we should address that. Why are they having problems? Why are they not able to afford certain things? You never hear them talk about that. I know there are people who are doing without, but let's figure out what it is that's causing them to do without. Did they, get hurt? Do they not have the skills? Do they not know what to do? Do they not realize there's mentorship programs available? How did the Haitians do it? You see, that's where it all falls apart. You're telling me these people from this war-torn, warlord-chasing country, like the governor of Ohio just came out, and he said, these people, you heard him say it, they came from Haiti. And they're in your restaurants, they're in your manufacturing plants, they're making money, they're opening businesses and buying houses. Wow. So you just told us all, America's a great country. They were able to come from a hut in Haiti to now they're buying houses. Well, then how is this woman talking about everybody's broke when the brokest of the broke were able to come here and somehow find a way to make it? And they're so proud of what they've made, and they're so proud of how they've succeeded that they don't want to go back to Haiti. I can't do that. But yet you come out here and make this video saying everybody's broke and nobody's doing anything. Something ain't jiving. See, those are the type of stories that I look at and I listen to when I hear politicians say people are broke, and then I hear the other politicians say, no, the illegals are great, man. They come here, they work, they got jobs, they're making money, they're buying houses. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. I just saw you on TV yesterday. You said everybody's broke. And then over here, you're telling me all these people from other countries are doing great. How did they do it? Oh, that's right. They didn't take out $50,000 in student loans.
Pro-America, to saddle tens of millions of students with a sheer $1 trillion in student debt. It is not pro-America to make it almost impossible for a new generation to even seek out a college education. But
maybe you have to realize college isn't for everybody. Maybe you should understand what the word debt means. Maybe that's what separates the Haitians and the Mexicans away from our young people. They don't come here with $300,000 in debt. They realize, hey, listen, if I get a job in America, if I jump in here and I'm able to go mow 20 lawns, that's all net positive. I'm not forking out $6,000, $8,000, $2,000 a month in loans. It's all upside. Have you not thought about how the immigrants are doing what you're saying most people here in America can't do? You want to eat the rich, tax the rich? Those people ain't for it. They're doing it. It's incongruous.
if you are pro-America right now, then the things that we should be fighting for are not just free education and eliminating, canceling the student debt, but we need to invest in people so that they can reach their fullest potential here in the.
You just said that they got student loans and Pell Grants, and you're saying that they weren't invested in. So you can't pay for the investment that you took, but you're telling us to put more in. I don't understand, honey. How can you want more money when you can't pay back the money that you already borrowed? If you listen to them, their entire argument falls apart.
Wealthiest nation on earth. And we can still do that, but we have to now work through people who are distinctly anti-American. So I hope that if you are celebrating America 250, that you'll join us.
Yeah, I'm celebrating America 250. I watched the fireworks. I had a great time. I broadcast until the wee hours of the night. SV was here. We were all here, roaring rage, Beth, till like 2 o'clock in the morning. You know why? Because we love America. We don't complain about it. Do something.
Number 3.
Trump term, of course, when the president was impeached twice and not convicted. Do you think that what Democrats did during his first term with the first impeachment has made it harder to break through and hold him accountable now because people have tuned it out?
Accountable for what? I don't know. I don't know what she wants to hold Trump accountable for.
Look, there is no question, I think, that people are overwhelmed with the amount of government corruption that exists in the White House and in D.C. Look, I think the Congress took the right approach. What he's doing in the second term is so much larger in scale, and the way it's moving so fast, and the amount of corruption that's happening. The first administration pales in comparison to what's happening now. And the reality is that Donald Trump is committing an impeachable offense every single week. So the idea that we're not going to investigate this with everything we've got, I mean, it's crazy. We have to investigate every single part of this. And of all of the kind of schemes that Trump and his family have in place, this crypto scheme is the most serious because.
So they're going to investigate President. I've talked out my ears. They're going to investigate President Trump, and they're making no bones about it. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try and destroy him if he gets out of office. You have to realize he knows that as well. They're not hiding it. We're gonna go after him. All right, so if you're going to go after him, as you say, we're going to do every kind of investigation possible if you guys get back in power. When people say nothing's happening, nobody's being arrested, then you're not paying attention to what they're saying because Trump obviously knows that as well.
So little transparency and information that the American public have. We just don't fully understand who is giving Donald Trump all of this money and for what. And if they're
Wait. Who is giving Donald Trump all of this money? Do you not have any means of understanding what a business is, what a businessman can do? Do you understand what compound interest is? There was another guy who posted something the other day that I think he did like 20,000 trades in the first quarter or second quarter. And I'm thinking, number one, he's got people doing that. And number two, because you don't know how stock markets work and how to do trades and what you can do, especially if you got $1 billion to play with, it sounds corrupted. It sounds like something nobody should be able to do, that he shouldn't be able to make $5 billion because he's trading and doing all kinds of different things, even though it's in a blind trust. These people don't know
anything in return.
Do you want to see him impeached for this? Do you want to see Democrats try to impeach President Trump if they take the House because of this?
What I want to see is serious investigations into Donald Trump's corruption. Look, everything, of course, is always on the table. But we've got to put our energy into stopping the Trump agenda and rooting out corruption and taking on the administration and the Trump family in all of these deals that are happening across the world. And so that is going to be our focus. Where that leads us, we'll see.
Should Donald Trump's children, should President Trump's children expect to be subpoenaed by a Democratic House?
Absolutely. Look, anyone.
Again, Trump sees this. I'm sure there's people who cut clips for him, so him to review. By now, he knows they're going to go after everybody he knows. They're going to go after Barron. They're going to go after Melania. They're going to go after his son. They're going to go after his new grandkid. They're going to go after everybody. They don't care. So that makes me feel very comfortable because I know he knows. I know he knows what is waiting for him if they don't take care of business. It's sort of like why I don't get freaked out about the Save America Act. There's something coming. There's something that he's going to do because he knows what they want to do. He understands that the sword of Damocles is sitting over his head. What would you do if you knew down the road some people were going to do all this stuff to your family? You'd do something about it.
That is involved in these schemes and his corruption will have to come in front of our committee. I mean, look at Jared Kushner, for example. I mean, Jared Kushner has a $2 billion investment from the Saudis right when he leaves the first White House. Now he's going around as the Middle East envoy, apparently of President Trump, while still cutting deals around the world with some of these same regions and governments. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure if I had access to the Sultan of Suai or whatever, Brunei, if I had access to the Saudis, you're damn right I'd pitch some business to them. Hey, listen, let's go ahead and build this resort over here in Pango Pango. Sure, makes sense. See, the problem is these people never have access to billionaires. They never have access to people who want to do things because everybody they're surrounded with are commies. And so to them, it looks like corruption. Are you saying a private citizen should not be trying to improve his business based on people he knows? I'm pretty sure Trump's got some of the best attorneys in the world, and they will say, nope, can't do that. Yes, you can do this. This is how you do this. How do I know this? You just saw it on display. You just saw everything about the Trump accounts. It's freaking people out. Wait till I show you this thread tomorrow. This guy's losing it about the Trump accounts because they're not used to it. They don't understand how any of it works.
that is complete corruption that needs to be investigated. We know that there are reports of Don Jr. essentially being on and involved on the boards of certain companies that are getting massive contracts from the Pentagon and from other government agencies. I mean, that has to be investigated. This has never happened before in any administration, in any presidency in our history of the country. And so it's important that accountability is actually in place and that we tell the American public that while the Trumps get richer, $2 billion richer, folks can't afford the gas.
There we go again. There we go again. People can't afford to eat. The poor people. So he's getting rich and the poor people still can't eat. I'm so sick of it. I mean, at this point, I was telling Robin, I said, I don't want to come across in a bad way, but I am so sick of them always talking about the poor peoples can't do this and do that. Why not celebrate American success? I think if you talked about success more, maybe some of the people who are, not able to have success would understand how to attain it. You don't offer anything to Americans. All you do is talk about it's not fair. He made $2 billion. I didn't make anything. Well, maybe that's your problem. Maybe that's it. In a nutshell, you're listening to people complain instead of saying, you know what? I wish I knew how to do this. I wish there was some manual. I wish there was some way that I could figure this out. But they will never teach you, and they will never show you how to succeed.
Can't afford their rent, and they can't afford the groceries on the table. What we should be focused on is affordability instead of them trying to enrich themselves every single day.
Congressman, briefly before I let you go, there was a Democratic socialist who beat a longtime incumbent Democrat in Colorado.
Number 2.
Your party is in a bit of a moment right now following some elections here in New York. 3 candidates who identify as Democratic Socialist won their primary campaigns, several of them to oust the more moderate establishment members of Congress in their races. Do you think that's good? Are their victories good for your party?
Hey, Caitlin. Yeah, you're talking to a billionaire. You're sitting there with a billionaire and you're asking him about the commies. See, this is the whole other thing. You're looking at what? He's a billionaire. The Pritzker family is loaded. Billionaire. But he's the Democrat billionaire, so it's okay. So the better question would be, hey, JB, are you up for taxing the rich? Are you ready to pay your fair share? Are you ready for them to take over the means of production of your family's business? No, because he knows it will never touch him. He's the good billionaire.
I think what's good is that there are Democrats who are standing up and fighting, that there are Democrats who are standing up and talking about and doing something about addressing the high cost of things. Affordability is an issue that everybody is feeling all across the country. And any Democrat that is standing up and speaking out about that, coming up with solutions for that, and importantly, doing it in a manner that is focused on fighting what Donald Trump is trying to do to raise prices on people, I think those are the people who are winning. So I'm not suggesting that I had one candidate or another in any of these races. I'm just suggesting that that is the recipe for winning in 2026, and I think...
I guess not. I'm pretty sure right now Graham Platter thought it was a recipe for winning. I'm pretty sure Graham Platter thought, hey, listen, I won my primary. The voters voted for me. I'm a demi-socialist commie. I'm a shoo-in. Nope. Sorry.
Beyond.
Number 1.
Interesting, and I would dare say a little bit nutty. How proud to be an American? You know, among Republicans, 93% are extremely or very proud. Just a single one, say they have little to no pride in being an American. But look over at the Democratic side. This is where we've seen this extremely or very number. It's been taking a tumble at 27%, which is way different than the 93. You do the quick.
Like I said earlier, I don't want them in my tent. So what you're seeing in this thing that Harry put together, a Gallup poll, is that only 27% of Democrats find themselves to be proud of America. It didn't say proud of Trump. It didn't say proud of the Boston Red Sox. It says proud to be an American. Even when Obama was president, I was proud to be an American. I would never go to another country on vacation and go, America sucks. No, Obama sucks. I love America. When Bill Clinton was in office, I didn't like him. The economy was doing well. I didn't say America sucks. When Joe Biden was in office, loathed Joe Biden, had friends in Delaware who loved Joe Biden. I would say Joe Biden sucks, but I love America. One of my good friends, his sister is an admiral in the Navy, loves Joe Biden, but first and foremost, she loves America. See, this entire group of people that have now spawned, they hate America. I don't want those people in the tent. I don't care how big the tent is. The entry fee is, do you love America?
Math with me here. What is that? That's a 66-point difference here in terms of extremely or very. But look at this. The little or no proud to be an American actually among Democrats eclipses is greater than the extremely or very proud number. So we are just living in such a different universe if you're a Republican versus a Democrat on the basic fundamental question of being proud to be an American.
So I would have loved for him to take that and ask the guys in the studio, do you love America? I didn't say, do you love Trump? Do you love your country? That should be a definitive yes for every single person who calls themselves an American. But as you're seeing, the overwhelming amount of people on the left hate America.
Democrats, has it always been thus? No, it hasn't. You know, I mentioned this 36%, the little or no, actually outrunning the extremely or very. And I will note that this is the first time ever among Democrats in which this little or no actually eclipses the extremely or very. And look at this, back in 2001, look at this. The extremely or very, and this is pre-9/11, the extremely or very actually outran.
What happened? How was it in 2001 when some guys did some things, when they flew into a building, 86% of Democrats were patriotic? What has happened in 25 years where it's completely dropped out? Can't blame that on Trump. What has happened in 25 years where it's completely changed? I'll tell you, one of my things is that these kids grew up. These kids grew up indoctrinated in college. You see, let's imagine you were born in 2001 or 2002, what you've lived through. And so now, as you're, 27, 28, 29, you've gone through years of college indoctrination. You've gone through the jabademic. You've gone through all these things that completely ruined your lives. I can't even imagine if I was a kid growing up, not a kid, but a formidable college kid or senior in high school that had to live through that entire period of isolation. And how angry you probably would be. And then you come through the college and there's nothing for you. The economy completely shut down. It had to be rebuilt. There was nothing available for you. And then you took jobs as baristas or influencers and did things like that. And now you're like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife. I can't buy a house. Why? Because you didn't have the training and all the stuff that we had when we grew up.
The little or no by 84 points. 84 points. Now the little or no outruns the extremely or very by 9 points. So what is that? 84 to 9. That is a 93-point switcheroo in 25 years among Democrats. Now more Americans for the first time ever more Democrats for the first time ever say that in fact they have little or no pride to be an American than extremely or very. And that is just very, very different from what we're used to seeing.
Not only is it very, very different, it's very, very bad. Very bad for our country. And that explains everything. That's why we're seeing the socialists, the commies. These kids have no hope. They were bred that way. They were raised that way. They have absolutely no hope. And now what do? They're getting into the clutches of these commies and the camaraderie of being able to blame other people for their position in life. And they blame everybody. Look at the ages of these kids. When you look at some of their videos and they're 24 and 25, then you go back to, okay, so you were born after 9/11. You don't even know what happened. And you get into college and these people indoctrinate you and talk crap to you. Can't even imagine. Can't even imagine. Ugh. Crazy. Wow, I've been talking for a long time. Oh my gosh. This was supposed to be a 1.5 hour show and turned into 3 hours. I got to get home to my grandson and my wife. SB, you there?
Yeah, let me tell you something, Barry. I love my country, especially the Oval Office, but Hillary, she doesn't love it that much.
I've been going so long, my headset died.
Come in, Houston.
Let me see if I can hear you because I had turned it off. It'll probably give me like an extra 10 minutes before I have to turn it back off.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
Go ahead. What you got?
I have a couple stories. All right. 4 from the bottom. The first one, this is about an hour old now. So from Eric Werty.
4? What's
4
it about?
From the bottom.
1, 2, 3.
Hegseth is now expected. Justin Hegseth is now expected to meet.
Okay.
4 from the bottom.
Okay.
All right. So apparently, what's going on in Iran, we've been bombing crap at them. So now, Hegseth was over there. He's now expected to meet in Israel, Netanyahu, and Israel Defense Minister Katz as President Trump launches strikes against Iran. This is not something Iran wanted to hear. 47 is now sending out the Secretary of War. Meanwhile, next story down, we'll do the meanwhile meme. Meanwhile, Iran responds. OSINT defender. Right below.
Got it. Hold on. Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, the Iranian Minister of Foreign Affairs has condemned the U.S. strikes across southern Iran, saying that it's a violation of the U.S.-Iran MOU, despite Iran first targeting 3 tankers as they transited the Strait of Hormuz, a violation in and of itself. Per the release, Iran holds the U.S. government responsible for their expected response, which will likely be a resumption of Iranian strikes on U.S. bases and infrastructure in neighboring Gulf countries. Stay tuned.
It's got to end. The only way this is gonna happen is for them to meet their demise. I mean, unfortunately, is there anything else we can do? It's crazy.
The Secretary Duff, we don't have to cover that one since you got to go. But the one on the bottom, since you're a real estate guy, have you heard about what's going on in New York with the high-raised beams are bending in a building, like the building might collapse?
Yeah, I heard that this morning.
What in the hell?
It's the Pfizer building, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
So outrage is erupting after New York City high-rise beams bend, forcing evacuations. Contractors allegedly cut corners to build affordable housing and apartments. Well, imagine that. This is not something you typically see in New York City. To have steel bending under construction, it's a lack of not picking safety over profits. Contractors must be heavily vetted and forced to uphold quality, not cut corners in the name of low-cost housing. Yeah, that's kind of spooky. I mean, not good. I mean, if Trump was there, all his buildings are still standing in good shape.
Yeah,
because especially that 20 stories, right? The 20 stories.
The air over the air. I mean, the thing with it is, and the socialists don't understand it or anything else like that, is that with the cost of the dirt, forget everything else, just the dirt. Then you got to build the apartments and everything else on it. There is really going to be no affordable housing. I mean, people have asked me, what do you think about affordable housing? It doesn't exist. You got to have affordable income, and that's where the issue is you got to be able to afford it. And when people say the prices are too high, that's the other thing I laugh at. No, they're not. The price is set based upon what people are willing to pay. If people don't pay, it drops down. It's really that simple. So when people say we got to do something about the cost of housing, I don't know, tell people to stop buying. I mean, that's the only answer, because whatever you paid for where you live or whatever Sheila paid for where she lived, there are other people who want to live there. And so the person holding the keys is like, hey, SV, it's going to be like $500 a month. And then Sheila says, well, I'll pay you $750. Okay, here's $750.
See ya, bye.
Yeah,
here's your keys.
Bye. And so now all of a sudden, it's beyond SV's ability to afford it, but it doesn't mean that Susie Q couldn't afford it. So how do you define affordable housing? You can't put a cap. It doesn't make any sense, and it never has.
You brought up another post the other day about Mandami giving himself raises. You remember that one? Did you cover that yet? Did you cover that? I thought it was, I responded like, he's putting in raises for him and a lot of the other folks in his administration. And I said, yeah, the $8 billion he got from Hochul was supposed to be for New York State aid. Got it. So here he is, like, telling everybody to set their thermostats to 78 degrees and cut. Boy, I love communism.
He quietly pushes nearly a 20% pay raise for New York City politicians.
Perfect.
I'll do it tomorrow. But look here, down here, they actually put. Look at this. Look at the numbers here. Look at that.
Wow, I know. That's
the
crazy.
mayor's salary would jump from $258 to $305. City council members would go from $148 to $175, and on and on and on. The bottom line is, if you're communist, if you're socialist, what the hell do you need $258 or $300,000 for?
That's a lot of rice and bananas, man. Jeez.
but we're supposed to just ignore that. It's no big deal. Oh my gosh. All right, I gotta get out of here and get home to Robin and the grandson. I'm sure. I think they already ordered food in, because I'm like,
hey,
I cannot believe,
great show tonight. Another great short show. I love it, man.
Well,
we're going on 4 hours.
I know the woman who won her $100. I hope she enjoys it. I hope that works for her.
She
All
was
right.
very appreciative. She said, "Thank you very much." So thank you.
Thank you.
See you all tomorrow, guys.
We're going to
Bye.
have these people like send us a picture or something so we can actually show people. Yep, so and so won. That way
cool.
they know. And we're doing it. So hold on. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday.
All right,
So
got
yeah, yesterday.
another one, Robin did tonight. Yours, and then Robin's, and then I think Christina donated $100.
So we got
right?
so we got
that's 4 nights.
Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll see what happens on Friday. So that's where we
Awesome.
are. All right, thank you very
Okay,
much.
have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, so let me get through this, and then Ben Dykes. Hey Ben, how you doing? I can't tell you guys how much Ben and I talk off channel and go over different things. Thank you, sir. Ronaldo, if Planter was a little rascal, he'd be Spanky. No pun intended. Sure there is. Andrew, it's not just Biden and Planter. Don't forget Swalwell. Yep, 3 times that we know of. So far, this is becoming the Stalin party. It's becoming their strategy. Chiosop, now that the SAVE Act is going to pass through, I have to change up their ways. And instead of installing nut jobs, they're going to have to put up electable people. You would think so. You would think they'd want to do that. Mr. Mike, you nailed it today, Barry. Democratic elections are very nefarious. Indeed. Tiffany's, yes, that was the answer. Pekovsky, thank you twice. Thank you 3 times, Pekovsky. Chiosap, Dems have no loyalty. They'll sell out their mom. Yep, they just plucked Graham Plattner and said, you got to go. But watch when it comes. Today is the 7th. We're live. I'd say by the, probably by the 12th, he'll be gone before then. Cuckoo Kachoo. Yes. Please clip today's platter segment so we can share it on X. Yep, I'll put it up tomorrow. Chiosop, need 15 minutes in a room with him and waltz, and one of us walks. Yeah, that was horrible. That's absolutely horrible. The angry Raisin K's and James Carville is not on board. Yeah, I bet there's a whole lot like him that just can't speak up. Chiosop again, Mandami wants to close Rikers Island. I'll talk to you tomorrow about how many people he's already let out of prison. That's crazy. Robert, Iran can't show pictures of destruction and admits they're getting their butts absolutely trounced. Next, Dumbs never take responsibility for any of their crap. Nope, they don't. Thank you. G. Fisher, he would pardon himself before leaving office. Yeah, that's Tim Waltz. Pekoski, where'd that go? Oh, what's that say? Lumping protolerant. The word exists for log. I'm going to have to look at, that's a real word? Oh my goodness. Chiosop, at least with Trump, we're all making money with them. They only make money and they steal ours. Hunter got rich. Obama got rich. Very rich. Congress insider trades. Is it on screen? No, I got to move up. Where are we? Yes. Jerome, trash cans needs taken out to the street after giving me for others. Switch companies, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And Neil, hello, brother. Great, very great show again. Thank you for all your dedication. Always thank you for bringing truth and honest reporting for MAGA. God bless you and the team. Thank you very much, Neil. All right, everybody, I'm going to go home and get ready to help my grandson train tomorrow. Hang out with Robin, the dogs, and get something to eat. You guys have a good night.
Bye.